Hi guys, welcome back to Chris Cowlin's channel for this live Premier League game between Tottenham and Wolverhampton Wanderers. I'm Barnaby Slater. I'll be doing the watch along for you live today. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, X and Twitch. Please do get involved and send your comments in. Also, if you're not already, and I'm sure most of you are, but make sure you subscribe to Chris's channel. The Don of Tottenham Hotspur content, Chris Cowlin, just came... another list of all of the football fan channels views from this past year, and Chris Cowlin is in third place in all football fan channels, the absolute Don, as I said, of football fan channels, especially for Spurs. So make sure you subscribe to his channel at Chris Cowlin on YouTube and wherever you are watching. And if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, do give this video a like. The more likes that we get, the more people's suggested videos this will go into, and therefore they'll be able to watch as well. Chris is at the game today at Molineux, so check out, keep an eye out, for video updates on his channel. He'll be posting throughout the day, and also the post-match press conferences will be posted straight after the game as well. Let me give you a little itinerary about how this afternoon is going to go. So much Tottenham content for you. I'll be doing the watch-along kickoff in about 7 or 8 minutes time. And then straight after the game, I'll do an instant match reaction video. And followed that, it is the fan show where I speak to Tottenham fans from all over the world. And if you'd like to be involved in the fan show in future, do email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. And then after the fan show from about 5:30 p.m., Chris himself will be hosting the Spurs Chat podcast, where he'll be joined by Josh Hughes, Gareth McGuinness, and Simon Foxall. So your afternoon is sorted, and for any golf fans like I am, also just it's a bit of a warm-up, isn't it, for tonight's last round of the Masters. Rory McIlroy, 2 shots in the lead. For anyone who doesn't like golf, aka any of you watching who are under the age of 40, realistically, ignore that, but I'm excited over it, that's for sure. Okay, let's get into the team news, though. Spurs playing Wolves in what has been described by some people, for example, Danny Kelly on the View from the Lane podcast. Make sure you listen to that if you don't. He's described this match as the most pointless match of Tottenham's recent history. And I wouldn't go that far, but what I'd say is that certainly Ange has rotated, and rightly so. In fact, I'd probably have been tempted to rotate a little bit more, and therefore if I was going to put my money on it, I would expect this to be a kind of training ground-esque performance again, like it was last week against Southampton. But here's the team he's gone for. Vicario in goal, Archie Gray at right back, Jed Spence at left back, Ben Davis on the left of the centre backs, with Christian Romero, who does start once again. And then in midfield, Pat Matasar, Yves Bissouma, the long forgotten about Yves Bissouma, and James Maddison gets another game. He keeps getting taken off, doesn't he, with kind of 10 or 20 minutes left of matches. And maybe that's because they know he gets in the kind of red zone fatigue-wise, and as a result, he is able to kind of play. I think he's played like 4 in a row now for Spurs. And then in the forward line, Tell gets to start. Son Heung-min is actually not in the squad at all today. He's given a proper rest. Ange Postecoglou has said he and Odebear will be fit, he expects, for that Eintracht Frankfurt second leg. So Tell starts on the left. Brennan Johnson once again starts on the right. And Dominic Solanke, the workhorse, who just has to run and run without getting any chances really for Spurs. He starts again up front. The bench is Kinski, Udogi, Porro, Van der Ven, Bergvall, Deki Kulusevski, Rodrigo Bentancur, Richarlison, and Mikey Moore. So a pretty strong bench, it's fair to say. The Wolves team is Sarr, Semedo, and Aït-Nouri, are the wing backs. Then Doherty, Agbadu, and Gomez are the centre halves, 3 at the back. And then in midfield, Gomez and Andre, and then Munetsi, Bellegarde, and Larson. The bench, Bentley, Bueno, Giga, Traore, Sarabia, Cunha on the bench today, Hwang on the bench, Gomez, and Mane. So, talking points, like I said, lots and lots of changes for Spurs. Archie Gray gets his first start for a few games at right back. Be interesting to see how he does. Ben Davis will bring us balance alongside Christian Romero, but that midfield of Sarr, Biss, and Maddison I think will be intriguing, because obviously Bissouma, what a gifted player, but just loses concentration so regularly. a lot of people think he just doesn't play very well when played alongside Bentancur. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with Sarr and Maddison. Actually, Sarr, Bissouma and Maddison was the midfield that mostly started that first 10 games of last season. So we know they can play well together. We know that they can. But will they? Is Bissouma now kind of checked out of Tottenham? Does he feel like his future is elsewhere? Has he been told that his future is elsewhere? Be interesting to see. Jed Spence starts again. He was unlucky, obviously, to be dropped against Eintracht Frankfurt, but I think both Destiny Udogie and Pedro Porro both played really well. So maybe Ange's decision kind of justified there. But Spence did come on and set up a great chance for Brennan Johnson in that Frankfurt game. So let's hope to see him marauding down the left-hand side again. And then, yeah, Brennan Johnson, it'll be important for him to have a good game too. He scored a couple of goals against Southampton, of course, but then did miss a good chance and wasn't really involved in that Brennan Johnson. So he wasn't really involved apart from that chance at the end of the game against Eintracht Frankfurt. It is a strong bench for Spurs. Like I said, I think Dominic Solanke must be absolutely knackered, mustn't he? Like he's played in pretty much every single game. And good. I've just found a stream, and Daniel Levy is at the ground. I don't think he needs to be at every single game. I saw in a game, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago now, he was on the fucking team bus as well. It's like, mate, get some separation. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, he's at the game. I guess if he didn't turn up to games, fans would complain about that as well. So you can't have it each and every way. Back to Dom Solanke. I'd just love us to make some chances for him, wouldn't you? Just get some crosses in, get some heading chances for him. Get him one-on-one. When was the last time you saw Dom Solanke have a one-on-one? Can't even remember it. Good news is Deki Kulusevski is back on the bench today. I'd be surprised if he got many minutes, but a chance for him to do the kind of warm-ups and warm-downs with the team. Ange has actually already said he won't be fit to start against Eintracht on Thursday, but exciting that he's back and involved. And imagine if we could get through that Frankfurt game, then Deki could potentially come back to top form heading into those semi-finals and potentially more. The Wolves, the Molineux's packed, lots of flags at Wolves. They seem up for it. They've got a bit of a pyro display going. I don't know. I can't say to you. I get a lot of stick on this in the comments for being negative sometimes, but I can't say to you that I think this is going to be a magic performance from Spurs. I'd love to say that maybe there'll be the pressure's off and maybe they'll play some good football, and I'd love that to be the case. But realistically, Wolves, not quite safe from relegation yet, but probably. I think they'd be more pumped about playing this than Spurs. OJF says in the comments, Solanke's last 1-against-1 was probably against Man United in the Cup when he scored. Randint says, seeing news of Ange being close to being sacked, I think he'll try to do something very new today. And if it works, he might carry it on. No, I don't think so. Justice Brian says, why no Heung-min Son and Odegaard in the squad? Well, I think Odegaard has a tight hamstring, which was either true or that was the mysterious leak that Ange was talking about in his press conference. And then Sonny, I assume, is just getting completely rested. And TSOM says, hopefully we see Mikey Moore get some minutes. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded Mikey Moore getting a start on the right instead of Brennan Johnson, but there's a clear hierarchy in terms of who Ange likes to pick. And Mikey Moore isn't at the top of that list. No Cunha for Wolves today. He's only on the bench. You've got to think that's good news for Spurs. I think he signed a new contract, didn't he? But you've got to think that contract has a release clause in it, and he's been doing some interviews and stuff where he talked about wanting to play for big clubs, and maybe he's been dropped for that. Maybe he's got a slight injury. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments, how bothered are you feeling about this game? I think the reality is whenever I watch Spurs, of course, I get into it and I get bothered and I want them to play well and I want them to win and I find frustrations. But I've told my flatmates, don't worry about it today. I'm not going to be shouting and screaming. Dave Bird says, Barnaby, you should be our next manager with Ash as your assistant. Ash Matic from Spurs Kings TV came on my channel last week. He's brilliant. And hopefully we'll be doing way more collabs together. He really knows ball. So make sure you go and subscribe to Spurs Kings TV if you don't already. Beetleboy01 says, Barnaby, did you get to any games yourself? Well, I was a season ticket holder at the new stadium, but no, I'm now making content around all things Tottenham. So watching from afar to bring you these kind of watch-alongs and daily content on my channel, which you can see the handle for in the bottom left there, at Barnaby Slater _. Please do give me a subscribe. I'm trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. It's been a slow few months for all Tottenham content creators, I think it's fair to say. Not a lot of desire to engage in Tottenham content when it's been so kind of downbeat. But hopefully Thursday night, a mega performance, Eintracht Frankfurt. And yeah, I think if we got into that semi-final, I think it would be fair to say everyone will get excited again. Spurs in their blue away shirt today. I don't mind this blue away shirt, you know. It does have a pajama vibe to it, but I don't mind it. What are we? We're at 2:01. We're about to kick off, so let me know how long the delay is. I'm going to come off the chat for a bit, but please do all get engaged with each other in the chat. I just don't like to see what's happening before I find out via the match. Spurs kicking from left to right as the camera looks at it. Just doing the taking of the knee. And my stream is working. It's not great quality. So if I get a few players wrong from afar, because it's quite a high camera angle as well, that is why. As the game kicks off and Sarr goes long for Wolves. First header for Ben Davies. Wins it pretty easily. And it breaks into midfield with Madders. Gets it to Sarr. And Wolves pick it up on the halfway line. Of course, Ait Nouri rumoured to be on our list, the left wing back for Wolves. So opportunity to watch him play again. And my first buffering of the day. What a joy. What a joy it is to constantly have bad streams. Oh, and I've jumped forward because it looks like Tell is being talked to by the referee for something. Oh, no. Wolves have won a free kick, I guess, on the left when it buffered. Yeah, in the kind of corner. And Tell is a one-man wall. And he's been made to stand about 15 yards away. Anyway, an early opportunity for Wolves to get the ball in the box. Spurs determined to concede an early goal yet again. The script would say Matt Doherty to score, wouldn't it? Because ex-Tottenham player. Here comes the delivery. Onto Vicario's head. He clears with his... They've scored! Oh, Tottenham. Ryan Ait Nouri, who I just said was on Spurs' list, and Tottenham have conceded in the first minute. Vicario cleared free kick. Vicario punches it away. Vicario's angry at the referee for something. And Ait Nouri just volleys it in from the edge of the box. Bottom right. Bounces. Bounces first. Bottom right. I didn't get to see what the free kick was given for. Vicario. This is just continental keepers, I'm afraid. He could easily have caught this. He was under a bit of pressure. He's trying to claim that he was put under too much pressure, but you're never going to get that in the Premier League. He could have caught it. I do think it's quite a low catch, like here. Maybe if he tried to catch it, it would have bounced down and someone might have prodded it in. And the ref is VAR trying to get involved, but I cannot see anything for this, any reason why this would be disallowed. I really can't. The only thing... Oh, they're checking for possible offside. I mean, is there someone in his eye line? No, there can't be, because I think Ben Davies was on the line behind Vicario. Tottenham won't get anything for this. I mean, how many times did Tottenham concede in the first 5 minutes? Just lame. What? I didn't see what the free kick was going for. So, look, they're just looking for an offside here. Well, there's nothing there. No, there was a Wolves player offside, but he's not in Vicario's eye line. I cannot see how this is going to get given offside. Also, what's happened to the semi-automated? And now he's talking to the captains, the ref. This has gone on for 2 minutes already. This is going to boil Ange's piss. Over 1,000 of you watching at the moment, guys. Thanks so much for your support. Do give the video a like wherever you are. It's a goal. Told you. Wolves 1, Spurs 0. Yet another no clean sheet for Tottenham. What a surprise. Go into the comments, see what you guys are saying briefly. Sonderman, this team is a joke. Tim Langford starting Romero seems unnecessary. Matt Liff says relegation still mathematically possible. Tottenham, of course, renowned this season for how well they do when going behind and under adversity. Not. And Wolves' crowd up for this now. Romero wins the header, and Ben Davies gets it down in midfield. Lays it off to Spence. Could have maybe put it a bit further in front of him there. Basuma. Romero. I just got a text from my friend Buzz saying, honestly, Spurs are a meme. It's so true. It's so true. We're so bad. That's so bad. There you go. Basuma. Oh, trying to lose the ball in the halfway line, Basuma, but just about manages to keep it, facing his own goal. And now tries something different over the top into Solanke, who tries to hold it up. It goes straight through to the keeper. It's going to be a long afternoon, I fear. As Sarr throws it out wide right. Oh, and then their man's trying to take on Spence. Good luck. Spence gets it back to Vic, who's being pressed. Oh, wow, and just plays it straight to them. And they should score. And they have missed an absolute sitter. An absolute sitter. What is Vicario doing it? So, ball comes back from Spence. Then Vicario, first time, tries to play it, God knows to who. And then in the middle, Romero misses the ball. And in the end, it's Larson, I think. He's on the floor. And he's just from 6 yards, just got to sweep it with his foot on the floor. And somehow it kicks his wrong foot first. And he scoops it wide. Spurs, man. That's a good ball from from Davis up to Solanke. And Solanke gets it out wide to Tell. Gets his first kick of the game. Certainly going forward anyway. He lays it through to Sarr. It's a good position for Spurs. But Sarr couldn't get the cross in, unfortunately. Tell does well outside the box. Basuma, a bit slow, but manages to keep it. Johnson tries to lay it out to Archie Gray, gets a cross in, and that is a corner to Spurs. Good attempted stuff from between Johnson and Gray there. I'm sorry, Ange, but all the excuses he's come out with in the last few months. What's this one? The leak gate this week? Mate, forget the excuses. Just stop us conceding fucking ridiculous goals all the time, and especially goals in the first 5 minutes. How many times are we conceding like the first minute? Just shit. Just a bit of a, well, Buzz said it, a meme. Anyway, Archie Gray on corners. It's a new one. Good delivery, outswinger. Cleared. Comes to Basuma, and he's lost it. And Wolves have 3 running forward. And tell you what, Basuma's going to get booked here. It's probably a foul he needed to give away. But that is Basuma all over, isn't it? Gave ball away. And then stops the runner. Spurs getting a bit overrun here. Kind of, yeah, and the commentators called it a professional foul. It is a professional foul. He's lucky it's in his own half. Probably had to do it. Does not look up to speed at all. Eight minutes gone. Spurs 1-0 down, obviously. Just Spurs in the Premier League, a team constantly just on the beach, aren't we? Sarr goes long down the middle, straight over Tottenham's high line. So Larson manages to get it down, and he was offside. So Spurs did manage to play them offside. But again, just every opposition knows to just play that long, straight ball over the top. Because no defenders want to be facing their own goal the whole time. Basuma lays it out to Gray. Gray goes down the line to Johnson. Johnson brings it backwards, which is kind of Johnson's trademark, I'd say. He's given the ball down the line. He never wants to take it on the half turn and always just comes backwards. Anyway, Ben Davis plays it out to Tell. Got Spence going outside him. Comes inside to Sarr. To Madders. Not had much of the ball so far, Madders. Plays it out wide to Johnson, who's got Gray going outside him. So Johnson tries the cross. Not a bad idea. Comes to the back. Oh, and Tell with a good strike there on the volley, but it's blocked by the head of a Wolves defender. And he connected well there, Tell. The ball just bounces in front of him. Oh, it would have been interesting, that. Good to see Tell in the box there. Wolves just playing it around in their own half. And Sarr plays it out. Oh, Spurs. Good press from Spurs. Johnson's won the ball high. He's going to have to come backwards this time, I think. And he's lost it, unfortunately. Ten minutes gone. Let's have a look what the other scores are. Funny that Arsenal keep mucking up, isn't it? Chelsea 0, Ipswich 0, Liverpool 0, West Ham 0. Arsenal had such a chance to win the league this season. They've absolutely bottled it. Straight ball again. Ben Davies beaten in the air. Wins the second one, but he's lost it. Wolves now have men coming forward. Half decent little half tackle there from Basuma. And then an absolute horror show of a tackle from Johnson. But Wolves keep the ball. Larson is out wide right. He's a busy boy, isn't he, Larson? I think he scored against us earlier in the season, didn't he? Tell working hard backwards, which is good to see. Let's see what some of you guys are saying in the comments. Brian James says, part of me wants Ange to go now, and part of me wants Ange to carry on. So when we get knocked out the Europa, he can't say I would have won something in my second season. Dear, everyone's very Ange out in the comments at the moment. Mike Barrow says it's shit because it sets Barnaby off and ruins everyone's experience for the duration. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry for caring. I guess when we're losing, you're just like really calm and don't care. It's fine. Good for you. Lucky you. Better for your heart than mine. Here come Wolves down the left. Right, Nori. It's going to get an early cross in because they know. Free header at the front over the bar from Larson. Ben Davies did put him under pressure. Some space for Spence to run into down the left now. I love watching Spence drive with the ball. What a player. Comes back to Ben Davies into the middle with Basuma. Lays it out to Archie Gray. He's got Johnson in front of him. Comes inside to Basuma. First touch is heavy. Gray helps him out. Christian Romero. Pressured. Archie Gray then gives it back to Vic, who's under pressure. Kicks it, gives a horrible pass to Archie Gray, who goes long with his left foot. Smart play from Gray. And Solanke holds it up in midfield. So it shows those long balls can actually help. And Solanke lays it out to Tell, but it goes behind him. But Spurs have bodies flying forward here. Tell driving on the left. Comes inside. Good ball into Solanke's feet. Holds it up. Tries the little back heel to Matters, but telegraphed. And Wolves bring it out. And Spurs give away a foul. Spurs. Oh, Wolves go with the free kick early over the top of Spence, but he deals with that. Heads it out. 13 minutes gone. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Tottenham 0. Phil DeRoom, how can you blame Ange for that silly goal? You'd think it was Vicaria's fault in every way. I'm sure Ange doesn't tell him to make silly mistakes. To be fair, I didn't see what the free kick was given for because I was buffering, so I can't really comment on that. I don't think people are blaming Ange for the goal. I think they're blaming Ange for the fact that we're just rubbish. Also, I'm not sure that. I mean, I'm not sure. I think a lot of goalkeepers would have punched that out, and I think he got pretty good distance on it. It was a good finish, but I think under that pressure, most keepers would have probably chosen to punch that out. But I don't know. See what you think. Subjective, innit? Ben Davies out wide to Spence. I guess now I'm thinking Spurs just kind of need to stay in this game. Even if we can't equalise, stay in the game. Don't let it go 2-0. And then we've got some good finishers, kind of, good strength on the bench for the second half. Basuma goes backwards to Romero. Romero plays it into Archie Gray on the right. This will go to Johnson's feet. Johnson, terrible pass inside. They know that if they pressure Johnson, he's not going to try and beat them on the outside with a turn. So he'll always go back so they can press him, and he's not a great passer. Anyway, Sarr goes long up towards Semedo, but that's gone out of play for Spurs' throat. Oh, Spurs have lost it, but they get a throw. They just look a bit unbothered and joggy today, I think, Spurs, as training ground pace, just kind of meandering about, as we've seen for a long time. Ben Davis, he'll never look like that because he's a proper pro. Basuma into Spence, being pressed, keeps it, wins a foul. Wolves just look about 10 to 15% more up for this at the moment. Gomez, another player who has not only scored against Spurs before, but is also reportedly on Spurs' list for potential number 6s. Some reports coming out of the club today that Tottenham are having to put their transfer plans on hold because they don't know whether they're going to have Ange or not next season. So that's another issue. Basuma to Romero. Wolves now pressing our centre-backs, kind of feeling that we're struggling under pressure here. Tell goes inside. That's a bad pass. And Wolves pounce on it like every team who play us do. Every time they win the ball back, just get players forward on that transition. Ait Nouri now. Inside. Gomez. Wolves knocking it about comfortably. As ever, Dom Solanke just having to do doggies all day. Oh, and that's a poor ball from Wolves. Spurs have won it back in midfield with Spence, sorry. He goes to Tell. Good little 1-2. And now Madders is in a good space down the left. But he doesn't beat his man. He tries to beat his man on the inside. And he doesn't. And now Wolves coming forward. It's a shame because that was a good position for Spurs. Semedo now wide right. Oh, Basuma. Ben Davis wins the ball in midfield. Could have been a foul, but wasn't. Spurs fans already apparently chanting, "We want Levy out." What a surprise. Basuma to Spence to Tell. I think it's fair to say that all teams, in fact, I think it was Steve Sidwell talking about it on one of the TV shows. Teams just love playing sides who are in the middle of a European tie because they know they'll be tired from the game and travelling, and also their minds won't fully be on it. And that's where this game is at the moment. Basuma did just do a nice turn in midfield and then just played a bit of a dodgy ball to Romero, but he swung it over to Ben Davis, and Davis coming forward in midfield now, trying to make up an extra man. Spurs fans trying to get behind them now. Romero on the ball in central midfield. Plays one between the lines into Spence, who does brilliantly. And he gets it out wide to Madders, who's got Tell outside. And Madders goes for the left foot cross. That's a great cross from Madders. God, I'd love to see that more from Spurs. Great cross. It was cleared out for a throw-in in the end. But I'd love to see that more. Because that's how we can make some chances for Solanke. Gray with the throw here. Spurs players pretty static. Now they make some movement. Gray gets it back. Loses it. And then Johnson is offside. He shouldn't be. See what you guys are saying. And just cough medicine says we are terrible. DJW says there's no way this team is coached, not unless it's Bob from the Dog and Duck doing the coaching. Conquistador, why are fans of every other Premier League team shouting Ange in? Rich Stang says, I got abuse on a post saying we'll lose all our remaining away games, saying I'm negative and I should support someone else. No, I'm just realistic after 40 years of watching the same stuff. Yeah. Anyway, Spence out to Tell. Tell fronting up his fullback, Semedo. Goes back to Spence. Madders now in our own half. Looks for the big one in behind the fullback. And that's a Fantastic ball from Madders to Tell. Tell now driving at Semedo, but Semedo is a good defender. But that was good to see from Tell making that run in behind and from Madders finding with a beautiful pass. Semedo's nicked it off both Madders and Tell so far, though. Gomez getting very tight to Madders. Spence with this throw. Gives it into Madders under pressure. Goes down and wins the foul. Chance for Spurs to get the ball into the box here. That was good play from Madders winning that foul under pressure. He just kind of stopped his body and allowed Gomez to come into the back of him. Bit of naivety from Gomez there, really. And maybe a chance for Spurs to get Wolves back. They scored from the remnants of a set piece, and now Spurs maybe will have to try and do the same. Madders standing over this one. Going to be an in-swinger. Don't score from a lot of set pieces, though did have some chances, but a lot of the chances come from Bentancur. He's not on the pitch today at the moment, unfortunately. Madders stepping up here. Don't hit the first man or put it straight in the keeper's arms, Madders. It's the first man. Comes back to Maddison. He's got an option down the line. Tell fronting up Matt Doherty. Oh, great pass into the box, but Sarr took a touch. It didn't really get it out from under his feet, but that was good stuff. Oh, and a shot from Basuma. Oh, great effort from Basuma. Makes Sarr make a diving save to his right. Well done, Biss. Good lad. Good to see us trying something different. Good to see. Davis in midfield. Drops it off to Basuma. Should gain a bit of confidence from that, hopefully. Yeah, he drives into midfield, beats a man. Well done, Biss. And a good pass into Romero in between the lines. He's got a bit of pressure on him, but he lays it back to Gray. And Johnson didn't show for him. Either Johnson didn't show for him well enough there, or Gray didn't trust him. And Spurs play it all the way back to Vicario. And Wolves are loving pressing Vicario at the moment because he's had a shaky start. Tell under pressure into Madders. Spurs putting themselves in massive problem here, but looks like they've won a throw-in somehow. Looked like a Wolves throw, if anything. Just showing the replay of the shot. So Basuma is about 28 yards out. Decent one-handed save. Good height for him from Sarr. But came through a few bodies as well. Yeah, it's a good save, that. Strong wrist. Oh, good position here. Who is that? Oh, no, now we've lost it. Was it Solanke? It was Solanke. And they're in here, Wolves, if they want to be, but it's a bad pass. Solanke was in a really good position going forward for Spurs. And then he lost the ball. And as a result, Wolves could have been in there. Just as ever, just one pass would have made it a one-on-one for Wolves. Yeah, Solanke just kind of out-muscled, really, in central midfield. I did wonder if maybe Richarlison could have started today because Solanke's just got so many minutes in his legs. Anyway, still 1-0, 23 minutes gone. Basuma lays it out to Ben Davis. He's been quite progressive with the ball here. Yeah, good ball over the top to Johnson. He's got to get it down with a good touch, and his touch is absolutely horrible. Allows Aït-Nouri to get in, knock it out for throwing. Doesn't look confident, again, Brendan Johnson today. But build-up play isn't really his game, is it? Let's face it. Romero. Ben Davis. As it stands, Spurs 15th, Wolves 16th, 2 points behind them. Solanke fouls Gomez. And actually, so it would, after this game, if it stayed like this, West Ham 35, Wolves 35, Spurs 37. And we got Liverpool next. I think there is a big chance Spurs could finish 17th this season, you know. It should be absolutely mortifying. But as I've said many times, how often have Spurs fans been like, I don't care about top four. I'd happily finish 17th if we won a trophy. Well, if we want to, you know, if we can win the Europa League and finish 17th, you get what you want. You get what you asked for. Solanke. Spurs win a throw-in high up there after Solanke worked hard. Can have a look. See if Frankfurt are playing today. I think they might be playing tonight, actually. Spurs take the throw. Archie Gray back to Basuma. Yeah, Frankfurt playing at 4:30. FC Heidenheim at home. Chance for a cross from Johnson. Yeah, digs it out. Comes to Tell at the back post. Good touch from Tell, but unfortunately it just bounces off his knee away, but he's still got it. Semedo keeping tight to him. Comes to Spence in central midfield. He opens it out to Romero. And now Romero to Brennan Johnson. He's got Gray running outside him, and he's good chance to cross it here for Archie Gray. Cuts it back well, but good defending spotted there. They clear it. Spurs get it back with Romero. Good ball down the line to Gray, who turns his man nicely there. And it goes back for throw to Spurs. Romero wants to take it quickly and does to Basuma. Good stuff from Romero there, and that's given some space to Gray. He goes inside to Basuma when maybe he could have gone down the line to Johnson. And then Ben Davis opens it out to Madders, who's playing in a bizarre kind of, at times, deep inside left position. Could do with him like number 10 positions, like, so we can get shots at goal from him outside the box. But that's not the way Ange wants him to play, I guess. He's mostly inside left. Spence dinks one over the top. Cleared. Under pressure from Solanke. Madders with a header. Solanke uses his strength well there. But the ref, Anthony Taylor, calls it back for either a push or a handball or something. Yeah, it's given for a nudge on Doherty. Who cares? 26 minutes gone. Wolves 1, Spurs 0. Spurs, jogging about. Oh, nice little flick from Basuma to keep possession there. Vicario gives it to Romero. Romero to Basuma. Nice ball from Basuma in between the lines to Madders, who dinks one over the top to Tell. That's good stuff. Good link-up play between them so far. Tell was going to cross on his left, brings it onto his right. Chance! So it was a strongly hit cross from Tell, and Solanke's at the near post, and he just kind of throws a leg at it, and it goes over the bar. That's where we look most dangerous. Tell on the left here. Cuts onto his right, and then... and Solanke would have been offside anyway. And yeah. I've seen a few things from Tell in the last couple of games when he came on against Frankfurt, and the link-up play with Maddison. He's got a lot more dynamism about him at the moment than Sonny does, as Sarr gives it away in midfield. But Jed Spence works hard. Oh, and then accidentally gives it away. And then he slipped the Wolves player there. Yeah, and the ref does well. And Archie Gray goes for one over the top towards Brennan Johnson. Lovely ball from Gray, putting Wolves under pressure. Brennan, don't foul him here. Just keep the pressure on Brennan. And he does foul him. As you know he's going to. But yeah, I'm starting to see green shoots from Matthias Tell. That he's just got the dynamism, playing some good little 1-2s, and getting good early crosses in the box. See what you guys say in the comments. Matt Lift says, another great clearance by Solanke. Coke Can, we have no real creativity in our team. Yeah, I'd say that's been the case for a lot of the time. Justin Hall says, Barney, you need to crack open a beer, mate. Yeah. Unfortunately, I had so many beers on Friday night that I can't be drinking again. I'm not with the Solanke hate. We don't make him any chances, and that was a half chance. He's no Harry Kane. That's the truth, but that's the reality. I'm afraid there are no other Harry Kanes. Certainly not anywhere near the realm that Tottenham can afford or will afford. Oh, my first yawn of the afternoon. I could definitely see Spurs not scoring in this game. Wolves just play it back to the keeper. Solanke having to do more doggy work, puts Sarr under pressure. And then Sarr just goes for the straight one over our high line. So Romero has to run back. Larson gets ahead of him. Does the flag go up? Yes, it does. Larson doesn't think it's offside, but it was, according to the linesman. Basuma. Romero gives it to Archie Gray. Brennan plays it first time all the way back to Basuma. And Basuma just waiting for something, gives it to Gray. Johnson kind of jogging away from him. Now gets it off him. And Johnson again in that move backwards towards his own half. Basuma, that's good play from Basuma. Spence is a lot more proactive because he's coming from left back all the way over to the right. He loses the ball there, but I don't mind it because at least he's trying something. But anyway, Wolves now on the transition. Absolutely free in central midfield as ever. Maddison coming across, try and tackle. He fouls. But the ref doesn't give it. Doesn't think there's enough in it there. And Spurs get the throw. That was good pressure from Madders there. Don't mind that. Working hard backwards. And like I said, don't mind it from Spence coming all the way across from left back in what I would best describe as a super inverted role as he comes to almost came to the right wing. He lost the ball, but he's trying to make things happen for Spurs, which at the moment, it's a little bit bleh, bit meh at the moment from everyone else. Johnson, nice play inside. Archie Gray does well. Tries to give it back to Madders, but loses it. Pressure from Spence on the left, but Wolves go over the top and it goes off the pitch. Alistair Gold is with all of you guys who thought it was terrible from Vicario. He says a horrendous start from Vicario. His weak punch played its part in Wolves' early opening, and now he miskicks a pass to the host to almost hand them another. And Basuma booked 7 minutes in. Spurs have the ball back with Johnson. Dinks one over the top to Madders in the box. Good first touch with the head from Madders. Doesn't quite break for him, though. Keeps the ball. Basuma outside the box. Archie Gray now on the right. Johnson goes down the line, but he's marked. And Spurs recycle it back to Ben Davis. Sarr gives him an option wide. Oh, and then Davis gives it back to Romero, who has to go back to Vicario. Then Vicario finds Sarr. And then Wolves just pressing us all the way back to Vic. Plays it to Romero, who's being pressed. He plays it to Gray, who goes long. I'm not surprised because we're probably going to lose it. And Gomez picks it up in the 6th position and then drives forward. Johnson tries absolutely nothing to take him down, really. Eventually he has to go to Aitnori. I have to say, for me, the right-hand side of Johnson and Gray, if you're a Wolves fan or Wolves team, Wolves player or coach, you'd say that is pretty unthreatening at the moment. Win it in midfield. Drops to Tell, does well to keep it, facing his own goal. Turns. Plays it inside to Madders. Good ball between the lines there. Madders is fouled by Doherty. He did the Cruyff turn, Madders. Doherty kind of went through him, gets the free kick. Spurs, what we had, 1 shot on target in the first 33 minutes from that long shot from Basuma. As ever, just flattering to deceive, especially against teams well-drilled, kind of low blocks, 3 at the back. Spence down the left, though. Got Tell with him. And Semedo. Comes back to Tell. Oh, bit of a dodgy touch, but gets it out to Basuma. He plays it well to Spence. Little 1-2 on here. Oh, lovely turn from Madders. Chance at the edge of the box for Sarr. Blocked. And then cleared with the head. As ever, Wolves having 3 at the back helps in terms of blocking shots. Wolves go long. Davis wins the first header, gets it to Sarr. Well played. Ben Davis into Madders. Madders in the defensive midfield position. Gives it to Spence. A lot of space for Spurs here, but I think Wolves are just very comfortable with Spurs playing mostly all in front of them. As ever, it's literally only ever down the left-hand side that we ever get in behind anyone. Ball comes all the way back to Vicario. Plays it to Ben Davis. Madders under a bit of pressure in his own half. Goes back to Davis. Plays a difficult ball for Spence, but Spence dealing with it, but he's pressed. Goes back to Davis. Comes back to Vicario. He's pressed early. Plays the first time ball to Bissouma. And that was decent from Vicario. Comes to Romero. Is he going to play one between the lines? Tries to Solanke, who was fouled, I think, there, but not given. Wolves win it back. And now Spurs push Wolves all the way back to Sarr, who will presumably go long straight over the top, and does. Up over Spence, who gets a push from Semedo, but does well. And then Madders on the turn again in midfield. Brilliant for Madders. Cute little ball into Solanke. He holds it up, and Tell now in a good position on the left. Sarr breaking into the box. Here comes Tell. Oh, terrible touch in the end, but Tell manages just about to kind of keep possession. It comes to Romero, helps him out. Oh, lovely ball from Romero. Chance Johnson just over the bar. That's where Johnson's excellent. He got into really good position, and on the half volley, he thwacks it over the bar. Amazing pass from Romero. Really brilliant disguise on it. Hey, we had a shot, though. We had a shot, lads. Come on, lads and lasses. Spurs have had a shot. 36 minutes gone. Sarr with the long ball. Ben Davis wins the first one. Drops to Gomez in midfield. He gets away from Bissouma pretty easily. Tries to play the through ball, but Romero gets there first. Gives it back to Vic. You got to go long here, Vic. And he does. Now a throw in for Spurs after that is headed away in midfield. Good to see Johnson getting a bit narrower and a chance for him. I think he's better narrower. I don't think it suits him being wide right on the touchline the whole time. I really don't. Vicario finds Ben Davis. Finds Spence. Dinks one to Solanke. Holds it up nicely. He's got Tell with him. And then Tell and Solanke not quite on the same wavelength there. Semedo wins it. And Wolves now free in midfield. Comes wide left without Nori. Score of the goal. He'll get a cross in here. And it's deflected. Free header. That's another goal. It's an own goal. Tottenham, I'm sorry to laugh, but my God. Poor Jed Spence. But calamitous from Spurs. Cross comes in from Nori. It hits someone. Flies up into the air in the box. There's a Wolves player in the middle of the box. There isn't a Spurs player anywhere near him. But the ball's high and has got no pace on, so he just kind of nods it on. And then there's another Wolves player about a yard from Vicario. They're just showing it now. So, Nori, no one trying to stop the cross, of course. Hits Johnson's foot. So, free header there. And then Vicario dives out when he could just catch it. And he palms it onto Spence. It's gone past the Wolves player, so Vicario doesn't need to fly out at it like it's a save to make. He just needs to catch it. Oh, Vic, I love you, but not a great display so far, old boy. There was some talk, wasn't there, of maybe giving Kinski a game this afternoon, seeing as we didn't want Vic to get injured for Frankfurt, but didn't. Wolves 2, Spurs 0. Into the 40th minute. And Wolves haven't had to do anything. They haven't had to do anything to get 2-0 up at all. Just giving it to them. Cross comes in from the right. Johnson, easily cleared. And they clear it long again. Basuma. Oh, Basuma. Got to be careful here in midfield. He does win it back, though. Oh, and then a foul is given against him for the first one. I don't question the quality of Vic. I think he's good in general. But this is not his game today, that's for sure. Oh, looks like Wolves are going to have to bring on a sub. Let's see what other scores in the Prem are. Chelsea losing 2-0 at home to Ipswich. Liverpool 1 up against West Ham. Enciso and Ben Johnson for Ipswich. Don't forget, of course, City were 2-0 down, nearly 3-0 down yesterday, weren't they? And they came back, so you wouldn't bet against Chelsea still coming back. Luis Diaz scored for Liverpool against West Ham. And if that stayed the same, that would put Liverpool, let's have a look, 13 points ahead of Arsenal with 6 games to go. Arsenal are a lol, aren't they? So are we, though. I mean, we're a much bigger lol, but at least they haven't won the league. The Spurs Express have just tweeted, I can't even explain what I'm watching anymore. Alistair Gold says, calamity goal number 2. This time Vicario flaps a deflected ball heading on the box. Manages to push it against Spence and it bounces into the net. Bardi from the Extra Inch. If you don't listen to that, make sure you do. It's a great podcast. He says, how this man is still managing our club will be written about for decades. James Moore from The View from the Lane. Why do you keep saying, as if people keep asking him, why do you keep publishing so many negative articles about Spurs? And then he said, points at bin fire. Phil McNulty, the journalist, says, sums up Spurs being in control for 50 minutes, then an absolute farce. Vicario turns Munetzi's routine header onto Spence for an own goal. Oh dear. Let's see what you guys are saying. Another free kick for Wolves here. 3 minutes till half time. It's going to be a left-footed one. Spurs keeping their line about 20 yards out. Oh, chance for Vicario. Catches that one. Good thinking. And an ironic cheer, of course. Spurs have the ball now. Tell into Basuma. Oh, he does well to beat his man there. Oh, but he's dived according to the ref, so it comes to Sarr. Oh, he's got to be careful if he's going to dive. He's already booked Basuma. Johnson on the right. I have to say, I think Johnson's had a fucking horrible half of football. Into Maddison. Oh, good ball between the lines for Maddison, but in the end, Wolves get a foot in, and then they suddenly just have swarming players through forward. Romero wins it and flicks it back to Madders, who's doing most of his work around the halfway line. Madders. Maddison to Basuma. Comes to Tell out wide left. He doesn't beat the man. Has to come back. It's about to be half time. I've rarely been so bored watching Tottenham. I mean, this season more than most. But it's gone exactly how I expected it to go. I talked in the opening about it being a training game, kind of tempo, how Danny Kelly mentioned it was the most pointless game of all time for Spurs. And that's how the players feel, clearly. And Wolves, like I said, about 10-15% more intensity, more up for it. Jed Spence dinks a lovely ball over the top to Madders, who's at the byline. He's pushed over there, Madders. He won't get it. He won't get it. He won't get it. So the ball bounces, and then Madders is about to cross it, and he gets a big old push in the back there. And if he doesn't get that push in the back, then he volleys it across the box for a chance for Spurs. But you're never going to get them. He puts both hands on the back of Madders and gets his body in between Madders' foot and the ball when he's trying to cross it in. But you're never going to get them because the ref has decided on the pitch it's not. I'm afraid to say there are 3 minutes added time. That's boring. Wolves, they're just saying a stat on commentary how Wolves have given away more penalties than anyone else in the Premier League this season with 7. And the only one of them that wasn't scored was, of course, by Spurs. Son missed one in the first leg. The first game of the first game against Wolves at home, sorry. Wolves go for the long one over the top towards Larson. He's up against Romero. Gets the first header, Christian. Drops to a Wolves player midfield, of course, because they're more up for it. Oh, cross from Nori, free at the back post. Poor header. Good chance for Wolves, as ever. Cross not blocked. Free header. Back post. Didn't get on it. Oh, Johnson's got a bit of space, but he's offside. I'm so looking forward to all this being over, because then we've got the golf later. Spurs just utter shit. Utter shit. Please, any of you who still think that Ange Postecoglou is the right man for Spurs, please do get in the comments and tell us what your understanding is of that. Paul Whitaker says the process of building a young, successful team, it takes time and patience. I asked then, who would you have? Oh, Wolves have got a big chance here. In on the right, cuts it back. Sarr gets in the way. We've had the winners. Spurs did what to them? Anyway, here comes Tell on the left on the break. Got only Solanke ahead of him. Lays it into Solanke. He's got to hold this up. He does. Gets it out to Tell. Good first touch from Tell here. He's got Spence outside him. He's fouled. Okay, so a chance for Spurs to get... He should be booked here, Gomez, because he's done this twice now. Tell did well. Tell has been, for me, the best player for Spurs. Don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments. But with 20 seconds to go until the whistle will be called for half-time, Spurs have a chance to get this in the box. What is the betting that we absolutely fuck this up? My betting is quite high. And my stream is buffering. So also probably every chance that by the time I get my stream back, the whistle will have been blown and I won't see what happens. Okay, here comes the free kick. Madders is going to whip it in. Will it hit the first man or will it go straight through to the keeper? Neither. In fact, Ben Davis heads it over the bar, and that's half time. So that's half time. Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Up there with one of the shittest performances of the whole season, and that is a low bar. I think it's fair to say. Vicario kind of apologising to people as he goes down the tunnel. What can I say, really? I would count myself as a glass half full Tottenham Hotspur fan, usually. Some of you who watch these regularly would be surprised to hear that. But that is just how far I've gone down the line of disillusionment. Is that I laughed. I laughed when that Spence own goal went in. Because it wasn't a surprise. We are finding more and more ways, especially in the Premier League, to concede ridiculous goals. Absolutely ridiculous goals. I tried to stick up for Vicario for the first one. He punches a ball out that he definitely could have caught. He obviously took the decision that he thought if he tried to catch it, he might have palmed it down and given a chance to a striker to poke it in. But instead he punches it to the edge of the box, and it's a good finish from Mike Nouri on the volley. Just hits it down. Quite a difficult one to control. But people in the comments definitely angry with Vic for that. Think he should have caught it or got a further punch on it. People like Alistair Gold on Twitter certainly saying that. But the second one, just people saying, oh, how can you blame Ange when the players are making mistakes? But why do you think players are making mistakes? Because they're not clear in their minds as to their full intensity and belief behind what is happening at Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. It's not as simple as saying it's just Big Ange or it's just the players making mistakes. It's from the top down. There is a malaise. There is a negativity, a doubt around the club, around the mentality, from the top down, from the chairman, the board, the owners, all the way down to the fans. And that's why when a goal like the second one, where Vicario dives to make diving as if he has to make a worldy save for one where he literally just kind of has to fall to his left and catch it, and palms it straight onto his own player and it goes in the goal. Like, it is laughable. There is nothing to be said about it other than it's just laughable. And yeah, I don't care about this game because I care so much about Eintracht Frankfurt. But honestly, the real chances of us suddenly playing magically in a difficult away game in front of 50,000 screaming Germans who haven't been beaten at home for 17 or 18 European games or something, the chances of us going with zero momentum and putting in another performance like we did, say, at the Etihad or Aston Villa away last season, tiny. And look, yeah, we've made some changes today, but you can't tell me that Eintracht Frankfurt's analysts aren't going to be looking at this and showing the team just being like, just play the long ball over the top more like you did in the first leg. It causes them trouble, gets their defenders facing their own goal every single time. Just put crosses in because they won't try and block them. You'll get chances at the back post. Again, another gilt-edged chance for Wolves from that. Win free kicks up the pitch because they can't defend set pieces. Again, the goal comes from a set piece. They don't really score from set pieces. So, just keep it tight and win the first ball. And momentum counts for so much because it gives you something to fall back on when you do go behind. So look, we did well to get an equaliser at home. But if we concede the first goal at Eintracht Frankfurt, do you feel like Spurs have the momentum of mentality to think, oh, we've got a chance of getting back into this? I don't. I think they'll collapse like a deck of cards. And things like this game, even though they've been made, there's so many changes made, they do count. They do make a difference in terms of confidence and the reality behind our ability to come back in those adversarial, if that's even a word, situations. And it pains me to say it, but I can't be bothered to watch any more of this. If I wasn't doing this for Chris, I would not watch this second half probably because it's so boring. People talk about Ange ball. The first 10 games of last season were exciting. Now, I'm going to say something. It's only just come to me, really. But did we think the first 10 games of last season, the results were great, of course, but did we think the football was so magnificent because it really was magnificent or because it was just so different from what we'd had with Conte, Nuno, and Mourinho in terms of the lack of pragmatism and trying to play it out from the back and stuff? Because we're still trying to play it out from the back now, and every single time it puts us in trouble, pretty much. And they don't have the confidence to do it, basically. One thing I will say, how much do we miss Bergvall? Christ alive. The only player, really, who in the last few months has just shown utter intensity game to game. And, oh, God, just what a player and how much do we miss him? I'll go through the minute by minute, but there's not a lot there. First minute, free kick. I didn't see it because it was buffering and they haven't shown the replay, but it was on the left. Vicario punched it away. As I said, Altnouri volleys it home. 1-0 down after 1 minute, Tottenham. I mean, if you were asked to bet on what was going to happen, you'd probably say that, wouldn't you? 5th minute, Vicario then kicked a first-time ball straight to their striker. He laid it across to Larson, who has a chance to put it in. He falls on the floor, has another chance to put it in wide from 4 yards out. Spurs get away with it. 7th minute, Basuma booked. He gave the ball away and then, in trying to make up for it, stops their runner, who would have probably been through. So, professional foul. But he just doesn't really look up to speed in this game, Basuma. He hasn't played a lot of minutes, so maybe not surprising, but yeah. 9th minute, Spurs get forward. A cross from Johnson came to tell. He actually got a really good connection on a volley at the back kind of post. It's blocked by a Wolves player. 11th minute, Alt-Nouri cross headed over at the near post by Larson. Nobody tried to stop the cross. 18th minute, something different from Spurs, and I really appreciated it. Madders decided to cross it with his left foot, and Wolves weren't expecting it. And that's what happens when you play football and you do something that the opposition are not expecting, that they haven't been briefed about in their analysis sessions. Then it puts them in trouble. And the Wolves were not expecting Madders to try and cross one on his left foot. And they cleared it out for a throw-in, but it was better from Spurs. 21st minute, good long shot from Basuma, decent save to his right, strong-wristed from Sarr. But again, I made a note, good to see us trying different things. Long may it continue. It didn't really. 27th minute, Tell, who, like I said, I think he's looked, from a bad bunch, kind of our strongest player. He cut it onto his right foot from the left, strongly hit cross. Solanke threw a leg at it, volleys it over the bar. Would have been offside anyway, but good to see him getting across in Tell. Some good stuff down the left in the 34th minute led to a block shot from Sarr outside the box. 36th minute, Brennan Johnson got into pretty much his only good position of the half. He found himself narrow in the box, a beautifully disguised pass into the box from Romero, almost like a no-look pass. And Johnson takes a touch on the half turn and then left foot volley over the bar. Decent connection. Maybe could have done better, I'm not sure. And then just 1 minute later, calamitous own goal from Tottenham Hotspur. Cross from Alt-Nouri. Brennan Johnson deflects that cross, but I would still say Johnson was not by any means working his nuts off to try and stop that cross from coming in. Anyway, he gets a touch on it, flies up into the air, and then somehow there's a man, I don't know who it is, a Wolves player, in the box. No Spurs player is within 5 yards of him, but because the ball's really high up in the air, all he can do is kind of flick it on, and it bounces ahead of the other Wolves player, and should just be really easy for Vicario to just dive and claim and catch, but he panics as he's done 3 times this half, palms it straight onto Jed Spence in front of him. He's only like a yard in front of him, and it bounces into the goal. Then in the 3 minutes of added time, another good chance for Wolves. A cross not blocked, free header at the back post, but he didn't make a good connection. And then that last kick of the half, free kick for Spurs, and Ben Davies heads it over at the near post. Over 3,000 of you are watching. We appreciate your support, guys. Do give this video a like if you haven't already. Please do subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin on YouTube, and my channel also for daily Tottenham content at Barnaby Slater _. This is what's going to be happening. I am unfortunate enough to be doing the watch along for the second half. I will then do an instant match reaction to what will inevitably be a Tottenham defeat. And then I will do the fan show where I'll be speaking to Spurs fans from around the world. And if you want to get involved in a future fan show, for instance, if you'd like to talk to me potentially after the Frankfurt game on Thursday, email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. I'll tell you what I'm going to do to try and change the luck. I'm going to put on my Spurs beanie. There we go. Maybe that'll change everything. But yes, after the game, I will be doing the fan show. And if you want to be on a future one, email tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. And then after that, from about 5:30 p.m., Chris will be hosting the Spurs Chat podcast, where he'll be joined by Josh Hughes, Gareth McGuinness, and Simon Foxhall. I said earlier, didn't I? It's a very difficult time to be a Spurs content creator because Spurs fans are just so low after every game. And they don't really want to tune into kind of regular Tottenham content. But please do keep around for the Spurs Chat podcast. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments. Gary Moore says, how's there been only 3 minutes extra or added time? 3 minutes VAR check, 30 seconds sub, 2 goals a minute each. Should have been 6 minutes, another time for another Wolves goal. Yeah, I think we got away with only 3 minutes there. Lucky us. Stephen Nichols says, can't keep blaming the manager. How many do we have to have? Hey, we're gonna finish 17th in the season. I'm sorry. Chelsea fans do not complain about how often they change managers. It's just the fact that they win. So you've got to choose the right manager and back it up with the right recruitment and stuff like that. It's a mix of things. Checkmate 734 says, is Bergvall good enough? We're comparing him to players that are playing terrible this season. Yes, he's good enough. Linton Shutter says he's given us kindly Ali Gold's halftime player ratings. Vicario 2, Gray 5, Romero 5, Davis 4, Spence 5, Matasar 5, Basuma 4, Madison 6, Johnson 4, Solanke 4, Tell 5. Not really sure where Madison 6 comes from, to be honest. Pasquale, thanks for your comments. Says, don't understand Ange's reluctance to play Mikey Moore. Well, he actually did mention this, so I'll bring this up. He said, we've exposed Mikey a hell of a lot more than I thought we would at the start of the year. He only just started playing under 21 football last year, and he had some injuries and didn't play a lot. It was kind of touch and go at the start of the year. Do we let him bed in with the under 21s or give him a loan or keep him with us? But my thing was, let him train for a year, train with men, train in the first team environment and see how he adapts. At the end of that, he'll still be 17 or 18 and we can make decisions. But he's played a lot more than we thought. But he's very much a part of our setup in the first team and he's training every day. We'll see the benefits of that in years to come. We don't need to be in a rush with Mikey. He's a very talented player and he's working hard. Physically, and I agree with Ange here, physically, I still sense that he's growing into his body. We've seen with Lucas Bergvall this year, the difference in 12 months in young players is quite transforming. I think Mikey will be in a similar boat. We're still very happy with him and we're sure he'll keep developing. Okay, so that's the answer to that. TSOM says, in fact, Bergvall is the only player we have who's good enough that is not made of glass. Paul Whitaker, interesting question. Who do you all want in as manager and why? Yeah, let us know in the comments. Who would you have in as manager? I have to say, I don't know. Pochettino is my actual answer. But that's not going to happen anytime before the World Cup. I do not know. Listen, I'm still desperate for it to happen with Ange. I'd love him to win the Europa League. I'll tell you this. This is something that's been playing on my mind in the last week or so. I actually think if we won the Europa League, I think Ange would resign. Let me know if you agree. Nobody's really talked about this, but I think he'd resign. I think he'd be like, I'm never going to do better than that at this club. There is no chance of me doing any better than that. And I can resign and I'll get another big club because I won the Europa League for a club who hadn't won a trophy since a proper top-level trophy since 1991. So that's what I think might happen if we won the league. Jason Lamarkin says Kieran McKenna. Super J3600 says Ange should have stepped down months ago. He's never going to step down unless he wins something because he's going to want his compensation. That's for sure. Chelsea are still 2-0 down at half-time. Liverpool's still winning 1-0. So that is interesting. Checkmate says he wouldn't resign. His ego's too big for that. He'd stay on. I'm not sure. He resigned from Australia, didn't he? He resigned from Australia before the World Cup. So Gary says, Solanke, when are we going to talk about the elephant in the room? He's a striker but never scores. I don't care if he's got a 10 out of 10 work rate. I want him to score goals. Listen, I'd like to see him in a situation where if he's missing loads of chances regularly, then fine. But I think under another manager, potentially, where he's kind of the focal point and everything is designed around making chances for him, I think he will score goals. So I'm not jumping on that train with Solanke. The players are back out on the pitch, by the way. Marco says he wouldn't resign because he'd miss out on a massive payout. Not sure. Sam Wise says it's not Ange's fault, it's Levy. But are you watching what's on the pitch tactically? The way we concede the same goals every game, the same chances every game. Come on, mate. Come on. Anyway, the game has kicked off again. Spurs right to left. Don't think we've made any changes as far as I can tell. Here's to 45 minutes more of boredom. Ben Bowman on TikTok. He's really great. Follow him on TikTok if you don't. He's already done a video saying, end the season now. And then his title is, People Think We're Going to Beat Frankfurt, crying, laughing face. Oh, dear. Wolves just knocking it around. Is there anyone who thinks... Actually, I'm just going to get the comments on, might as well, because who cares? And that's a goal kick to Wolves. Is there anyone who thinks Spurs have it in them to turn this game around? Gary says, I'll settle for boredom. It beats this shit. Okay, so it was actually Brennan Johnson there created a chance for Slanky at the near post. Oh, and it has been given as a corner. I apologise. I missed that because it was so boring. So a corner to Spurs. Archie Gray with it. One of the worst corners I've ever seen. It's the first man and is cleared, sorry. Enrique says to my question about us turning around, says, hell no, lucky to get a draw. Green light says, Spurs not have it in them to turn this game around. I've lost all faith in this club, not just to manage the whole operation. Oh, Wolves are in here. Wolves are in. Oh, and a terrible pass through from Larson lets us off the hook as we gave the ball away in central midfield. What is it about everyone wanting Glasner? Do me a favour, 2-0 up against City and end up losing 5-2. He's not the answer for Spurs. Yeah, let's base it on one game. Glasner won the Europa League at Eintracht Frankfurt, let's not forget. Spurs knocking the ball around slowly. Sarr in midfield gives it to Tell, who just passes it straight to a Wolves player. Wolves knocking it about their back line. Spurs are so late to their own press, but they got a foot in there. Johnson nearly had a chance to win the ball, but he didn't. Oh, and they're through down the middle, Wolves. But good, amazing pace and strength from Jed Spence. And then passes it to Vicario. Spurs now have the ball. Maddison looking for an option, not given anything. Romero plays it down the line. Kicks it off the pitch, Romero. Good stuff from Spence, though, there. Yeah. 48 minutes gone. Be interesting to see, won't it, after the game, if the away fans get at Ange again and how he reacts if they do. Davis out wide to Spence. Into Tell, puts his foot on it, goes back to Basuma, opens out to find some space, and then plays a terrible pass, and Wolves are at us again. Good stuff from Tell defensively to put them under pressure. Gomez lays it out wide, gets it back. Wolves just knocking it about, taking the piss out of us. Sarr pressures him, goes back to the halfway line. Wolves in on the right now. Semedo. Oh, plays a good ball into the box into Larson. Oh, he's still got it. Spence does well again. And then Romero tries to bring it out, jumps in 2-footed into a challenge, but Spurs managed to get out and now Tell us some space to run down the left, but no one near him. So he opens it out to Romero, takes a bad touch. And now he's got a bit of space. Dinks one over the top, Romero. It's a good ball to Tell. One-on-one wide left now, Tell, but he always wants to come inside, gets an early cross in. Oh, nearly comes across to Johnson, but not quite, and cleared comfortably from Wolves. Lovely play from Gomez in midfield. Brilliant from Gomez. That's why Spurs are interested in him. Beat two men there. Oh, dear. Oh, and Ben Davis fouls in midfield. Let's see what Twitter is saying. Oh, Wolves in a good position on the right. Gomez dinks it towards the back post. Semedo, no, too much on it. Alex Decker says, no cohesion whatsoever. Is there still a bottom to fall to? Yeah. E2 says, got to feel for the fans who travel and pay to watch this. Agreed. Gary Moore says, need a manager who runs the show. None of this fourth team organisation crap. Engineer says, going to put on a podcast and do some guarding. Check in 40 minutes when we're 3-2 up, lol. All right, well, I hope you're right. Enrique says, I bet Ange will stay well away from the fans again. Yeah, probably. And Rappers is right here. Says, Spencer's been outstanding. Oh, they're in here down the right. Larson. And that's cleared by Davis. Yeah, Rapper says Spencer's been outstanding when you consider the shite around him. That's true. Dino Payne says, whoever the new manager is, they have to surely make some key demands about what the club does and that he's not the only one talking to the press. Yeah, but are there many other Premier League clubs where it's not just the manager talking to the press? I think it's a commonality, isn't it? Michael B says, in the league, these players just want this season to end now, and that's the issue, no fight in them. I mean, that's an understatement, but what then happens after Thursday if we don't win at Frankfurt? Still 6 games left. Next one's at Liverpool away. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the downer? Are there any of you who think that if we lose on Thursday night, Ange will still be the boss for Liverpool away? Let me know in the comments. Rich Stang says, the fact he's playing a right back at left back, a left back at centre back, and a midfielder at right back when he has all those players available on the bench just proves what a clueless clown he is. Oh dear. Tiger Tony, thanks for your comments. It's the usual story, can't defend and can't create. So we're so lucky that the bottom 3 are so bad this season. That's true. I agree with that. We are incredibly lucky how bad the bottom 3 are. It doesn't even bear thinking about. Could have been a 1978 situation. But I have to say, as a fan base, I'll say this again, you might not like it, but we have to take some responsibility too, because Daniel Levy has listened to the fan base who have said, we sack managers too quickly, don't sack Ange. And that's why he hasn't sacked Ange, clearly. Gary says, I can't see how Ange can be there if we lose on Thursday. Michael Cody says they don't want to play for him. And Bergvall is coming on, is he? Basuma. Basuma and Sarr off. For Bergvall. For Bentancur and Bergvall. Icing on the cake if one or both of these players get injured now. All right, Davis to Maddison again, who's always in that weird, almost like in a left back position collecting the ball. It's bizarre. Vicario under pressure here. Lays it out to Romero. He goes to Bergvall. Goes first time back to Vic. Oh, his first touch is fucking horrible, Vicario. And he wins. He clears it off the Wolves player for a goal kick. He's very lucky. And all the Wolves fans just laughing at him. Can't be much fun. Okay, Vic goes into Bentancur and gives it to Davis. Again, Maddison in that wide left position ends up just kicking it off the pitch pretty much. What is he doing there every time, Madders? That's got to be tactics. That's got to be Ange telling him to do that. I don't get it. He's facing his own goal in the inside left position every time. As Solanke gives away another foul. 55 minutes gone. Absolute trash. Wolves fans just chanting at us how fucking shit we are. Oh, Spencer's lost out down the right. Wolves in the box now. Sarabi getting to the line. Oh, cuts it back well. Chance for Larson. Chance! Hits the post. It's a corner. Deflected onto the post, actually, I think. Is it by Romero? Maybe Bentancur? Bentancur, I think. Oh no, actually I think it's saved by Vicario. Corner comes in. Punched over the bar by Vicario, but he wins a free kick. Quite a nice goalkeeping kit. Purple one. Quite like it. Wasn't a foul on Vicario, actually. It was a foul on Maddison, who's trying to block the player trying to block Vicario. 57 minutes gone. And as ever, as we've seen so many times this season, whenever a team we're playing get a lead against us, they just want to make it scrappy and bitty and get in our faces, and we can't handle it. We're just knocking it about. It comes all the way back to Vicario. Press. Backwards again. From Spence to Davis. To Romero. Back to Vicario. To Davis. No tempo. To Spence, who's under pressure. Does a lovely little Cruyff turn to beat a man, but then loses the ball. Back to Davis. Back to Vicario. Romero. He plays a good ball in between the lines to Madders, who's in a better position there, but has to go backwards. And now some space for Bergvall inside right. He's got Johnson with him. Great run from Bergvall. And Johnson's in a good crossing position here. Good ball across the box. And Tell has scored. Do you know what? That's terrible defending from Wolves. But I'm here for it. Matthias Tell scores at the back post. And I think it's almost cleared onto him. And now Solanke's getting in a fight with Saar. I'm not sure why. And Bergvall is the reason why. Amazing run from Bergvall. Draws men out. Passes to Johnson. And a good cross across the front. I'm not even sure if Tell knew the ball was going to get to him. Let's just check that it's onside from Bergvall's ball. Yeah, Johnson's onside. Yeah, definitely onside. And Semedo, what happened was Semedo in the end, the ball comes across, he tries to flick it with the outside of his right foot, like back heel it away. And Tell just is behind him and it kind of slops it home. Yeah, Tell didn't know much about it. And the commentators literally just said Tell didn't know much about it. The lucky hat, boys. The lucky hat. Got the lucky hat on now. 1-0 up since the lucky hat. 3,500 of you watching, guys. Make sure you press that like button. Spurs are on their way to Wembley or potentially still being in this game. Bergvall, the first player during the whole game, pretty much, maybe other than Spence and Tell a little bit, who's like driven forward with the ball, and we score a goal from it. Anyway, Tell now on the left-hand side, cutting in again, tries to find Madders, but Madders had already made a run away from him, and that's then the ball hits the referee. So Spurs get a lucky break, and by God, did we need one. Now we have to use that to try and put Wolves under pressure and try and make them doubt themselves, because they're obviously, you know, one of the few teams lower than us in the league. Romero. Yeah. Spence. Into Tell. Tell goes back to Ben Davis. Davis goes to Romero. Romero to Bentancur. Opens it out to Bergvall. He tries to go inside to Bentancur, but it's picked off by Gomez, and now Gomez is running forward. Bergvall coming with him. And that is a corner, or has Vicarius? No, Vicario did well there, to be fair. Stops it going out for a corner, throws it quickly to Madders, and some space for Spurs, and Spence needs to get on his bike to get away from him. Okay, Spence is now making an outside run with Tell on the ball. Tell goes into the middle, and Spurs have kind of slowed it down here, so Wolves have got all their bodies back, which is a shame. But Bergvall chips a ball over the top to Tell, who chests it to Madders, and Spence is at the byline now. Can he cut it back? It's a good cross to the back post. There's a lot on it from Spence. Comes all the way to Gray. He's not really been in this game, but Gray pops it back to Romero. Romero plays it across to Ben Davis. Davis to Madders. Madders outside of the boot to Spence. Nice stuff. And Spence is going to get a cross in here, but it's blocked. That's what happens when you block crosses. Wolves did well there. Spurs could learn a thing or two. Comes to Romero. Looking for a ball in between the lines. Comes across to Ben Davis. Comes across to Madders. Wolves have had to drop deeper now because Spurs have just got a little bit more intensity about them since the goal. And Tell now on the ball. He's going to get a cross in here, Tell. It's a decent ball, cleared at the front post. Bad touch outside the box, though. Bentancur manages to get it back for Spurs just about. Romero into Bentancur. Good pass. Terrible touch from Bentancur. I'm not sure Bentancur is the kind of player who suits being a sub, to be honest. And now Larson. Wolves have a 3-on-3 here. Spurs getting bodies back. Oh, and it's just a heavy pass from Larson. That's Spurs back in. Sarabia now keeps the ball on the left-hand side, Wolves. Altnouri does well, beats his man. Johnson, that is. I guess that'll count as another assist for Brennan Johnson as well, won't it? Not been in this game whatsoever, but he has an assist to his name. To be fair, that's the first time anyone's put him in a decent position. All down to Bergvall. Semedo now wide right. Wolves play a good ball into the channel, but Romero's covering it. Oh, Romero, terrible defending. It's going to be a goal. What is Romero doing? How many times this season has he done that? He's facing his own goal. All he has to do is get his body in the way and pass it back to the keeper, and he lets the player in, and he passes it across for a goal. So they play a decent ball down the channel. Romero's in a good position and he's got the ball in control. And then he takes a bad touch and lets the Wolves player in and crosses it for Larson. Deary me. What is he doing? Enrique in the comments says, just boot the ball into the stands. And just cough medicine says, Romero bonehead. Coke can says, I cannot watch this game anymore. Utter crap. Krill, 3 comedic goals conceded. Andrew Davis, lol, the mighty Wolves are battering us. Yeah, Spurs have given away all 3. Like I said earlier, didn't I? Just finding ever more comedic ways to give goals away, Tottenham. And Wolves now coming through midfield. Madders makes a decent tackle, but the second one's not a good one. Bergvall finds Ben Davis. Maybe it's Archie Gray, actually. Yeah, just the commentator saying all 3 goals Spurs are given away have been individual mistakes. And she says, lack of concentration, which we've been talking about with Romero all season. Romero, who wants to move to Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid, like, do you not think, mate, that they're going to be watching your performances this season and how many fucked up mistakes like that you've made? Honestly. Lots of people in the comments saying try and blame Ange for that. Obviously, it's Romero's fault. But bear in mind, you know, this is what Ange says. He's never going to blame a player for trying to, you know, pass the ball when he could just clear it. And that's what Romero is trying to do. He's trying to pass it back to Vicario rather than just put it in row Z. So, it is a responsibility of the style of play. It's a symptom of it. But listen, let's try and look for a positive here. Will Romero now be very keen not to make that mistake on Thursday night? And he would have been already? Yes. So we'd rather him get it out of his system today. But, yeah, Tottenham just utter dross. Oh, Solanke's made himself a chance here. He wants to shoot, lays it across to Bergvall. Good dummy. Brennan Johnson at the back. He's totally... So much pressure on him. And then Gray loses it. Just Wolves. So much more intensity. Ball comes to Madders outside the box. Good on the half turn from Madders there. And he's pushed off the ball. Hey! Free kick to Spurs outside the box. A chance for Madders here. Free kick. Be a free kick at goal. Cunha now coming on for Wolves. He's gonna have so much space. He's gonna cause mega damage. Matters over this free kick. Wolves fans loving this. Now, it's quite a big Wolves wall. It's very central. He's lined up the wall to his left, Sar. So he's saying to Madders, you can whip this if you want to my right. And that's where he's standing. They've got the draft excluder down. It's a bit too far out for the draft excluder, I'd say. Here it comes. Matters! High and wide. It's already time to look ahead to Thursday night, guys. Cunha coming on for Wolves. Gary Moore says, I actually think Ange should go today now. Get someone in for 7 games who can make something happen. Yeah, but Gary, I don't know if you were one of the people, but certainly lots of Spurs fans still very angry with Levy for sacking Mourinho before the final. So you can't sack Ange before the big quarterfinal second leg, can you? He's made that mistake before. Cole says, we invite so much pressure. It's just a shocking tactic that doesn't work. Everything we do is suffocated. That's true. Yori, thanks for the super chat. He says, Southampton is our last win with Ange. Big up, Barnaby. Thank you for the super chat, Yori. Appreciate that. Matt Lift says 100% replace Big Ange before Thursday. They're not going to do that. Oh, Wolves in down the right. Leads to a booking for Ben Davis. Gardu says Madders probably shouldn't have been started today as he'll need to play as close to 90 as possible on Thursday unless Ange will play Kulu. He's already said that Decky isn't going to start on Thursday. Josh says this game is as bad as the away shirt as they cut to Daniel Levy. Doesn't look desperately happy. Dino Payne says, well, Ange has to go. I think he should stay for next week. There's no other real option. We have to let it play out. I agree. I think if/when Spurs go out of the Europa League on Thursday. Oh, free header at the back post for Wolves goes over the bar. I think Matty Wells will be installed as Tottenham manager on Friday with Ryan Mason as his assistant. That is my prediction. And James Maddison now in the centre-back role, weirdly. 71 minutes gone. Unfortunately, still 20 minutes of this to go. Romero plays it into Maddison, takes it on the half turn nicely, gives it into Solanke, lays it across to Archie Gray. He's not been in this game at all, but he does lay it out to Brennan Johnson. Johnson now driving at the fullback. Opens his legs a bit. Oh, gets to the byline. Well played. Cuts it back. Oh, and it actually fell to Gray first. He didn't get much on it, Johnson. And Gray tried to kind of help it on, but it goes out for a throw. Oh, and Johnson looks like he's in pain for something. He was kind of, I guess, touched in a slide-in tackle. Spurs with the throw. No intensity or desire to do anything here. Archie Gray flicks it into Lucas Bergvall. Loses the ball in the corner and Wolves clear it long. Spurs pick it up on the halfway line. Kulusevski's coming on. Wow. All right. That's much longer than I thought he'd get. Ben Davis opens the ball out to Spence. Goes inside to Madders. He's got 3 players on him, Madders, and he loses it as a result. And Wolves are in. Cunha outside the box. And he's fouled. Cliche alert, but they just want it so much more than us. This is boring. You wouldn't be surprised, would you, if Cunha just stuck this one in the top corner? He's on Tottenham's list, isn't he, Cunha? But I think there'll be bigger clubs able to pay him more money who will go get him this summer, I would have thought. Wolves haven't had to score a goal themselves so far, and it's just over the bar. Spurs have given them all the goals so far. He goes over the wall. So Solanke is coming off for Rishi. Madders off for Decky. There's some big cheers when those subs were made, but I think maybe it was more the Wolves fans laughing at Maddison because he's an ex-Leicester player. Anyway, so Richarlison and Decky back from injury. Can they make the magic happen? Romero gives it to Gray. Wow, that's a stat. Richarlison has missed 37 games in total this season. Incredible. Decky with his first touch. Loses it. Wolves now driving at the midfield. Oh, but Bentancur does well. Gets his body in the way and turns. Nice. And then gives it away because Gray wasn't in the right position. Cunha opens it out to Semedo. You might have a dig here, Semedo. It's blocked well by Spence. The margins are so small in the Premier League that when you are in a situation where you are 10 to 15% less bothered than the opposition, I think it's... Oh, they've just passed it straight to Rishi, but his first touch was horrible. Oh my God. So as I was saying, 10%, 5% even. It's so easy for the other team when that's the case. It just really is because they win every second ball. They, when they win the ball up the pitch, they're just far more into driving forward. And this is what this game has been like. Just Tottenham absolutely unbothered, I think, really. And I can't really get that angry about it because I'm unbothered, really. It's frustrating. It's annoying, but, Marcus Buckland, the host of the Tottenham Way podcast, says there's no way Ange should be at the club next season, irrespective of what happens in Europe. Dougie Critchley says Vicario has been back for 8 league games. Romero's been back for 5 league games. Shot from outside the box, deflected wide. Wolves corner. Solanke the same, and yet Spurs are nearing their 12th defeat in their last 19 games. It's as bad as it has ever been in my lifetime. No, it wasn't a corner. So Bentancur opens it out. Kulusevski plays it inside to Rodrigo. Tries to play it back to Kulusevski, but Spurs have 9 players ahead of the ball here, so it's 3-on-2 to Wolves. Cunha now up against Romero, gets in a decent body shape, and Romero wins the ball. But Wolves, when they go forward, are only committing like 3 players, whereas when Spurs go forward, they had 9 ahead of the ball. Well, 8, I guess, not including the keeper. The only problem I see with Tell is that he is never, ever going to go down the outside of his man. He always cuts in on the right. So it's a little bit easy to defend against. Oh, Kulusevski's made a run into the box. Beautiful. Oh, he was actually picked out really well and just his touch wasn't quite there. But good to see him actually trying to make a run into the box. We haven't seen that from many players. It was Johnson trying to dink the ball over to him. Goes out for a goal kick. 4,000 of you watching, guys. Appreciate the support. Please do press like on this video wherever you are. Only 12 minutes to go, guys. Spurs away fans look absolutely livid. Some of them, quite a lot of them, not even looking at the game, to be honest, which I'm not surprised. Oh, we give away another free kick, this time Kulusevski. He doesn't agree with it. See what you guys are saying in the comments. Jay Green says Ange is very lucky to still be in charge for Thursday. Look, Jack Lagros says Levy crushing the life out of football. John Creamer, this season is worse than 93-94 season. Well, actually, this is not nailed on, but it's looking very much like it will be the worst season in Tottenham's Premier League history statistically. That being between 1992 and now. Farney 4 rump says, and Romero wants to go to Real Madrid. Exactly. Here comes the free kick. On to Vicarios. He catches it. Good lad. Gary Moore, 110 million for Richarlison and Solanke. And neither between them have 10 goals in the Premier League. Josh, good point here, says, I used to get angry when we played like this. Now I just feel numb to it. Tells you a lot, really. It's true. Oh, terrible defending again from Spurs. Comes to Gomez outside the box. His shot goes wide. Does show just how much we rely on Mickey van der Ven, both with the ball and without it. Romero just passed the ball straight to their player. And he does foul him when he has that shot. I don't know if the ref's going to give this a foul. Gomez has a shot and it goes wide, but Romero does foul him. Has he given it as a free kick? No, he hasn't. And he should have done. The ref's done us a favour there. I've basically got nothing written for Spurs this second half. Once again, we've absolutely crumbled. Spence, little 1-2 with Bentancur. That's nice. Gives some space for Spence to run into. He fires it at Tell, who deals with it well. Goes back inside to Spence. But once again, Wolves have just men around us every time. And Tell can't find a ball to Spence down the line. Decky wins the ball high there. That was good play. And then Tell loses it, unfortunately. Wolves play it down the line. Play it inside. Good play. Chance for them to get in behind, but Romero this time does play it back to Vicario, who gives it back to Romero. Spence now plays it, tries to play it down line to Tell, but it's a bad pass. Picked off by Wolves, and now they're coming at us. You would not be surprised at all if Wolves got at least one more in this game in the last 9 minutes or so. Cunha's made a good run. Davis blocks the pass. And now Bergvall plays it to Johnson. Rishi trying to make a good bent run there. Oh, God. Brennan Johnson, just what a shocking pass he's just played to Rishi. Like, so far behind him. Decky again trying to win the ball high. Good lad, but doesn't quite manage it off Gomez. The day is darkest before the dawn, guys. Can only hope that Thursday shows something completely different to this. Can't tell you how similar Spurs and Man United are as clubs right now. Watch Man United, watch Spurs in these kind of games just get absolutely outplayed time and time and time again. But then managing to get results in Europe. Gomez being taken off and Richarlison trying to push him off the sideline. He's been great, Gomez. Again, on Spurs' list, so that's why he wants to play so well. And Hwang coming on. Gray does well. Plays it down the line. Good touch from Johnson. Lays it into Decky. Plays a beautiful ball to Bergvall. He's in space in midfield now. He's got Tell outside him. Good ball to Tell. Tell coming into the box now. Plays outside to Spence. This is a good move from Spurs. Poor cross from Spence blocked for a corner, but that was some of Spurs' best play. Commentators trying to make out like if Spurs got a goal now, anything would change. I don't think so. Here comes the corner. Deep. Spurs win the first one. Chance. We've hit the bar. We've scored. Rishi. And a goal from a set piece, no less. So the corner went to the back post, headed back across the goal, and then a header hits the bar. Not sure who from yet. It's Romero. So the ball is won at the back post, headed across, then Romero heads it onto... Oh, it's saved onto the bar, and Rishi heads it in. Rishi heads in the rebound. Good lad. Yeah, they just took Gomez off the pitch, who's their best player. Anyway, Wolves straight at us. Oh, Semedo. He's a good fullback, Semedo. Spence up against him. And Semedo kicks it off. So, Wolves 3, Spurs 2, another goal fest. If Spurs get anything out of this, honestly, it would be one of the least deserved results of all time. Oh, chance, Cunha. Chance, Wolves, in the box. Wang slipped over. Kulusevski brings it out. And that's a foul on Brennan Johnson. And a booking. Wolves looking a bit nervy, to be honest. Oh, they're in. Cunha. Goal. I don't know what happened. And who's that? Bergvall on the floor, stamping his feet. That's 4-2. We won a free kick, and then whilst the replay's on, they Cunha has a one-on-one. It must be Bergvall who gives the ball away, I guess, because he looks gutted. Tottenham. Tottenham was so shit. Right, here we go. So free kick. Bentancur's on it. He gives it short to Johnson, drops it off. Bentancur gives it to Davies. Davies gives it to Bergvall, and then Bergvall tries to beat Cunha, and Cunha just steps away from him and Davis and finishes it. Wolves 4, Tottenham 2. Total humiliation, says Jack Lagrosse. Mace says it's like the 90s all over again. Yeah, I remember the 90s. Absolute clowns. Tell gets to the byline and then unfortunately kicks it off. Coke Can says shocking, awful crap, just totally inept, embarrassing and lackluster. And Ange, who's been complaining in the last week about how he has to talk to the press all the time, well, you're going to have to talk to the press again, I'm afraid, mate. Not going to blame Bergvall, though. He's trying to make things happen. Just a bit of exuberance of youth. I did say I thought Wolves would score again, and I was right. Tell on the right. Gets the cross in. Oh, it's cleared at the front post. I liked him getting that cross in, though. They might score again, Wolves, you know. Wouldn't bet against it. Spence. Spurs lose it, unfortunately. Into the 89th minute. Wolves 4, Spurs 2. Let's see what the other scores are in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Ipswich 2 in the last minute. And Chelsea equalised about 10 minutes ago. Liverpool 2, West Ham 1. Bentancur outside the box. Beats one man. Lays it into Spence. Left-footed cross. Across the front. Oh, terrible defending. Wow, what a shit show this match is. In fact, Liverpool only scored their second in the 89th minute. That'll be big for the title. Here comes a cross from Kulusevski. Cleared. And Spurs offside anyway. Don't forget, after this game, my instant match reaction, followed by the fan show. And then later on, the Spurs chat podcast with the man himself, Chris Cowlin. Wolves are loving this game. I'm not sure they realise just how bad Tottenham are at the moment. Oh, this will be Wolves' 4th league win in a row. There you go. I'm just knocking it about here. Cunha does well. It's strong, Cunha. 4 minutes added time. I think the refs let us away with that a bit. Will they score again, Wolves? Spurs give away another foul in midfield. Only 3 minutes to go. Kulusevski's looked busy since he's come on. He wins it up high there. And then wins a foul. Gets up quick. Wants to do it quickly. Free kick stopped. Spence takes it to Tell. Got his goal today, Tell, but don't know. Oh, Spence wins a free kick down the left. Chance for Spurs to get it in the box. Don't forget, guys, I'll be doing my instant match reaction after this game. And then straight after that, the fan show. And then the Spurs Chat podcast. 4,500 of you watching. Do give this video a like. Do subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin and my channel at Barnaby Slater _ on YouTube. Bergwall is going to whip this ball in here. Here comes the free kick. Cleared at the front. Comes to a Spurs player. Dinked in by not sure who. Spence wins it. Gets it back to Bergwall. Has to turn away Bergwall. To Bentancur and Tottenham all the way back on their halfway line now. In fact, it goes back to Vicario. 1.5 minutes to go. Bentancur has the ball in his own half, looking for some kind of movement. Bergwall offers him some. And the Wolves fans chanting that Ange's going to get sacked in the morning. I don't think he will. Kulusevski tries to get a ball into the box, a driven ball. It's cleared. Wolves pick up the second ball, of course. Come in between the lines and then play a ball down the line, but Spence will have the pace for that. Wolves about to go above 17th place for the first time in many, many months. It was never in doubt for me that Wolves were going to win this game, though, for months. Well, since Spurs went through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League, you knew they were going to lose this game. But to lose in such an embarrassing, like, all the goals we gave them, my God. Literally all 4 goals, absolutely shocking individual errors. Just embarrassing. No, nothing. 10 seconds left. Spurs just tapping it about. It's going to be one last corner for Spurs. Bergwall on it. And Richarlison gets a header. And that's the end of the game. This is my instant match review to the Wolverhampton... I can't even say it. The Wolverhampton Wanderers 4, Tottenham Hotspur 2 game at Molineux. And, well, I try and make these instant match reviews about 10 minutes long, and it's going to be hard because I'm quite determined not to be, like, completely negative, but simply the performance was abysmal, abhorrent. We made 4 individual mistakes. Right now, I'm being seeing a clip of Vicario telling Lucas Bergwall to keep his chin up. Well, Vicario made 2 individual errors that led to goals. Bergwall did make an individual error that led to the 4th goal, but Bergwall's a kid who came on and literally was the only person who did anything good that led to us scoring a goal. So I don't care that he made a mistake leading to goal because he was trying to make things happen. He was trying to get on the ball. He was trying to beat a man. So I don't mind that for Lucas Bergwall, but there is so much dross in this squad. And any time where Ange tries to make changes, you just know that you're going to get a training ground level game where they don't give a shit. And as a result, you play against teams who do give a shit. And as a result, Wolves were probably 25% better than Spurs in terms of everything today, in terms of their desire, in terms of their work rate, getting on the ball, wanting to make things happen. But then at the same time, tactically, never like shoving 8 players forward. And therefore, when they lose the ball, when they're forward, they've still got a good base to work from and not concede. And they still conceded 2 goals against us because they're Wolves and they're, towards the bottom of the league. They're just showing the away fans now. Not best pleased would be an understatement. I think it's fair to say. But was it a surprise? Spurs now in 15th place, 37 points. Wolves 16th, 35 points. West Ham 17th, 35. So Liverpool away next week. Every chance we'll be in 17th in the league by then. Ipswich, thankfully, on 21 points. Let's see, did Ipswich get a result against Chelsea? Oh, it's still going on, but they are 2-2 currently against Chelsea. Listen, I know it's been said, but my God, most other seasons, a lot of other seasons in the Premier League, Tottenham would be in a serious relegation fight. 37 points, and hard to see where other points are coming from. But look, as I said, was it a surprise that we lost 4-2 to Wolves today? No. I said in the opening, I said it to my girlfriend, I said, Spurs will lose today. They've got nothing about them. I hate to hark back to the Pochettino games, but they fucking cared. They gave a shit. And they had enough, even in games where maybe there were more important games the same week. They still turned up to games like this and knew that if they put in the required work rate, the opposition would be nervous enough themselves to give them goals. And for the second time this week now, I'm watching an opposition team, raising their arms and cheering and celebrating to their fans because they've turned over Spurs. And Frankfurt didn't even turn us over. They just got a draw. Listen, I've been doing the watch along, and a lot of people in the comments, obviously very staunchly Ange out, and a few people in the comments just being like, how can you blame Ange when we've made 4 individual errors? Well, I'm afraid, listen, we all wanted to see good football and attacking football, but this is Ozzy Ardiles shit. I'm sorry, this is Ozzy Ardiles' famous 5 bollocks. For those of you too young to remember, Ozzy Ardiles came in as Spurs manager under Alan Sugar in the early 90s, and he played what was known as the famous 5 forwards. Dumitrescu, Barnby, Sheringham, Klinsmann, Anderton. And, for the first couple of games, we won 3-2 away at Sheffield Wednesday on the opening day, and we beat Everton at home, and Klinsmann scored an overhead kick. But we could not defend for shit. And that is what watching Spurs in the Premier League is like this season. And I'll say it again, I've said it many times. Everybody loved Bielsa at Leeds. He did a brilliant job in the Championship, blew them away. And then in the Premier League, he was picked off. And Ange, time and time again, tactically, is being picked off. And even in these games where, I didn't come into this game really caring that much because I only care about Thursday night. But I don't want to be embarrassed. Romero gave away a goal from trying to pass when he should have just hacked it off the pitch. Bergvall trying to beat a man when he shouldn't have done. But like I said, I don't blame him for it. Vicario, just lack of concentration, not making the right decision. And, well, let me put it this way. It would be the comeback to end all comebacks if Ange Postecoglou found a way to win the Europa League this year, keep his job, and then do a job good enough next season to not get sacked. And I said it during the watch-along, if we manage to win the Europa League, and with the lack of momentum and the disappointing mentality within the club and the squad, I find it very difficult to believe that we will. But if we find a way, because let's not forget, we did put in a better performance against Frankfurt in the week, but if we find a way, it would be the biggest shock in football because there's no momentum, no mentality, no belief, and a massive lack of concentration at important times. I don't know. I do not know. I'll go for some player ratings. Vicario, 3. Looked shaky the entire game. Gray, 4. Didn't look great, I have to say. Not really given many options by other players. There was a severe lack of movement on the pitch. Just jogging around. I've said it time and time again. I'll say it again. Tottenham and Manchester United are so similar at the moment. When you watch them in these games against teams who play kind of well-drilled shape, low block, mid-block, they struggle and there's no movement. And you just watch these teams, United and Spurs jogging about like they have some kind of entitlement to win these games. Well, you don't, mate. You're going to finish 17th in the league because you shouldn't be entitled and think you have the right to just turn up and win these games. Jed Spence put a shift in. I'll give him a 6. Romero, I'm going to have to give only a 5 because of that mistake. Ben Davis tried, but probably only a 5. Midfield, Bissouma got hiked off after 50 minutes. Give him a 4. Sarr got hiked off after 50 minutes. I'll give him a 5. Madison, 6, tried hard, didn't really do much. Johnson, 5.5. Solanke, 5. Tell, I thought looked like he was trying stuff in the first half at least, so I'll give him a 6. But it was boring. It was boring to watch. It was shit. Fascinated once again to hear what Ange Postecoglou will come out and say. What will he blame? The Thursday, Sunday difficulty? Having to rest players for this Thursday? Yeah. I mean, let's try and look at some positives. Thursday night, a chance for the team to make everybody forget about this. Win or bust, Judgment Day again. We're still in the tie, and that's important. A lot of people were saying, weren't they, it's unfair that Tottenham had to play their first game of the 2 legs in the Europa League quarterfinal at home and their away leg away. I disagree. I think it's lucky that we had to play the first one at home because it means we're still in it away. I think if we'd played the first leg away, there's every chance we'd lost 3-4-0 and we'd be out of the tie. So we're still in it, and we have a chance to let players like Christian Romero, who has won 2 Copa Americas and a World Cup, and then turns up in games like this, and for about the 6th time this season, his lack of concentration has given away a goal. We have a chance for him to show that he can take the game by the scruff of the neck away at Frankfurt in a difficult atmosphere and get Tottenham through it. And that's all we can hope for, because if he doesn't, then it's no good, mate, you having liked posts this season where journalists have said Romero will want to leave the club if Ange Postecoglou is sacked. Because if you lose on Thursday night at Eintracht Frankfurt, trust me, Ange Postecoglou will be sacked on Friday. And Matty Wells will be announced, just like Christian Stellini was, as the manager of Tottenham Hotspur, with Ryan Mason being his assistant until the end of the season. That is what I'm 100% sure that is what will happen on Friday if we go out against Eintracht Frankfurt. And it doesn't matter how we go out. It doesn't matter if we get absolutely dicked, and it doesn't matter if we lose on penalties. We will be basically in 17th place in the league, because that's where we'll be after we lose at Anfield next weekend. And Ange will not have a job on Friday. So those players, if they really like playing for him, as they claim they do, they need to put in a performance that wins us that match and takes us through to a semi-final, potentially against Bodo Glimt over 2 legs, which will not be easy, especially away from home in cold Norway, frozen Norway. But is it a semi-final of a Europa League that you would want? Yes. Yes, it is. So we're now properly at all or nothing, win or bust stage, Thursday night, away at Eintracht Frankfurt, having just got dicked 4-2 by Wolverhampton Wanderers in the league. So it's up to you, Ange, mate. It's up to the players. You got to show us. Do you want it? Do you want to play for Ange Postecoglou? Do you seriously want to win a European trophy this season? And if you do, you've got to show your full ability and desire and motivation Thursday night. And I promise you, if you win that, Spurs players and Ange, we'll forget about this result very, very quickly. But it's a tough watch and it's ugly stuff. All right, guys, that has been my instant match review. Apologies if you didn't feel like I did enough analysis, but I have written notes throughout the whole game, but Spurs were just dog shit, and there was nothing really to cheer about. And we scored 2 goals, and even those were nothing to cheer about. Wolves gave us one of them. The other was from a set piece. Maybe that will give us confidence to score a set piece on Thursday, because I think we might need to. All right. Please do give this video a like if you haven't, and do subscribe to the channel. Cheers. Okay, guys, this is the fan show. Tottenham Hotspur have lost 4-2 at Molineux. Just done the watch along, just done my instant match review. Not a lot to be ecstatic about after that performance, and not a lot to be surprised about either, I wouldn't say. I'm not sure necessarily you would have bet on 4-2, but you would have probably bet on Spurs wimping out and just losing in a very pathetic manner, and that is what happened. So let's speak to some Spurs fans from all around the world about it. And first off to Malta and Melvin. Melvin, welcome to the show. How are you feeling after that game?
Not too good. To be honest, it's a strange one because it's a game you want to win, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
It's like I watched the game. I was numb the whole way through. You know, when we conceded in the first minute, I was like, again, seriously, why we keep making the same mistakes? The defense sometimes is shocking. The concentration levels of the team. I know this game doesn't really matter, but at least try. At least show that, you know, for the traveling fans especially, I feel sorry for them because if you make your way all the way to the stadium, all the way to Wolves to watch this game, you at least want to see the team try. And yeah, the lineup in a way I was happy with because he rested six players. Obviously, there's some news that Sonny has a knock or something like that, but I personally would have went more drastic and rested Solanke, Madison, and
me too.
Even Vicario and Romero. I honestly wouldn't have played a single player that's going to play on Thursday, and even because we lost anyway. So what's the point? You just think Thursday is potentially where we would be in a semi-final of a European trophy. So. Or potentially we would be the worst season we've had in certainly since I've been following Spurs. So I don't know. So I don't know what to say.
Let me just agree with you, Melvin, on one thing. Can I just agree with you on one thing there?
Yeah.
It's been proven this season, time and time again, that these half and half teams don't work. So he should have just rotated everyone. He should have played Mikey Moore. He should have played Kinski. He should have played everyone because, what you said is exactly true. We lost anyway, and we knew we were going to lose anyway. So just chuck it in. Just, play the kids.
If Kulusevski was good enough to start off the bench, I would have gave him 60 minutes. Get some legs in there. He was on the bench anyway.
Kulusevski looked good, actually, I thought.
Yeah, he did. He did. So that's something positive. But this season's defending has been, even Romero this season has been really poor. I know he nearly got us the second goal, with his header and Richarlison slotted in. But it's still been a bad season for Romero. Yeah, I think he's mentally checked out. Personally, in my opinion, I think he's mentally thinks he's going to be next season in Spain, Italy, Germany, whatever. He thinks mentally he's not here. He's not at Spurs. He still wears the shirt because he's one of the best defenders we have. But I just think mentally he's somewhere else already. I just think his agent knows something. He knows something, and
I think he's going about it completely the wrong way, because if he thinks he's going to check out to the point where Atletico or Real Madrid are going to be able to get him on the cheap, Levy's not going to sell him on the cheap. So he should be playing his absolute best game after game so that he can get the move that he wants at the price that we'd accept.
He should be, but unfortunately, it's not showing on the pitch. For me, he has credit in the bank, and clubs around Europe know he's a quality defender because they see him in the World Cup. They see him for Argentina. They know his experience, and it shows. He's not playing for us. He's not playing for us with the same aggression. It's not the same Romero, is it? I mean, when's the last time you see him tackle for the ball like he used to, or be so? It's not the same player for me. I don't know. I still love the player. I still want him to be at the club if he can, turn it around a little bit. With the game, I thought, I don't know. Tell was okay. I know they lacked a bit of service. The Spence and Tell partnership, I think, was good in the first half. In the second half, There's still the same issues. The midfield is still really weak. Madison, I expected more from him. He didn't have the worst games. Solanke, I really thought and should not have started. I would have rested his legs because we need him to be really, really strong on Thursday. Thursday is absolutely everything for this football club at the moment and for me. I mean, we haven't had such an important game for a really, really long time, and our season rests on it. We could potentially be in a semi-final, and that's honestly very rare for us to say. So today we lost 4-2. Am I going to be upset? No, I'm going to forget about it in the next 10 minutes. Honestly, once I hang up, I'm going to forget about this loss because it's not important. It does nothing for me. It does nothing for the league. Postecoglou is, hanging by a thread. One more game, and if you lose that game, he's gone. Simple as that. If you win, there's, you have 2 more games. Yeah. Because it's honestly, it's gone down. It's gone down to that. It's that kind of season, and we've said, well, not me personally, but people on the podcast, I would take 15th if we win a trophy. People said this whole time, a long time.
For years.
They've been saying this for years. So we're in it at the moment. So Thursday, let's see what we can do. Hopefully we get through and we're in the semi-final. And if somehow we get there, it would be great. I'd love it. I'd love to win a trophy, to see Heung-min Son and his Tottenham career winning a trophy. But we'll see.
Melvin, let me just tell you a stat that I just read. Wolves hadn't scored more than 2 goals in a match in 2025, and they've just scored 4.
I thought Vicario was at fault for the first goal. I mean, he should do better than that. Vicario. Anyway.
Okay, Melvin, thanks for being involved and being a part of the show. Let's talk again after Thursday night when we'll definitely have won, I would have thought, and we'll be in the semi-finals.
Hopefully. See you, Barnaby. All the best.
See you, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, next up, we're going over to America and Scott. How are you, Scott?
I don't know. Frustrated. I don't know. Deflated. Whatever Craig says. It's like, it's so apropos. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even watch part of it because I just, at 2-0 at half, I'm just like, I'm just going to go walk the dogs. Whatever happens. I'll replay it if it's any good. We scored a goal, but immediately after getting back, I could hear the cheering, walked upstairs, and boom, third goal. It's just pathetic.
Do you think his team selection was right today?
I don't think rotation's the problem. I mean, you look at the players. Spence played great. I can't even remember all the other rotations. Johnson played terrible again. I mean, he's just so, either he gets that cross tap in or he does nothing. And who else was it? Ben Davis. He wasn't terrible. Not as good as Van de Ven, but
I mean, do you think he should have basically just rested everybody who's going to play on Thursday night rather than, more minutes in the legs of the likes of Solanke and Madison and Romero?
I don't think that would have worked because if we go back to early in the Europa League, he was doing that half and half thing. He'd the first team and the second team, and we looked pretty bad then.
No, that's what he did today. I'm suggesting he should have gone for the full reserve team.
No, well, he changed more for the Europa. I mean, he probably had 7 or 8 changes back in the early Europa games. So I don't think it was that. I just think they don't know how to play the system. Bentancur, he's getting off lightly on that Bergvall giveaway. I wrote it in the little chat thing that he just played 2 tippy-tappy passes on a free kick. And then Bergvall got stripped because we were all, I don't even think we saw it. I didn't see it here until the replay. It's Bentancur too. It's just like they don't know how to really work together.
Okay, so looking ahead to Thursday, obviously based on last Thursday, but we're going to be away from home. What level of confidence do you have?
I still feel like somehow they play a little differently in those games. They play a little bit better. I thought they played really well last Thursday. And I don't think you can turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off without it finally catching up to you. Believe it or not, I feel like we could still win that. I mean, I know it sounds ludicrous. Look at all these comments. In fact, I'm just going to turn them off right now because it's not worth watching. I mean, I admire you because last week I gave you a little hard time because you were like so unimpressed with our first goal. I was like, Barnaby, come on, show some emotion. But I feel that same way. But then I read the chat and it's just like, it's so hot and cold. My God. Although I haven't even seen hot for a while. I don't know how it was during the game because I didn't get to watch it. So I think we could win. And I just don't.
It does feel like a leap, though, doesn't it, for us to go from performances like this to suddenly something that we're going to need, which would be the kind of akin to the performance we had at the Etihad where we won 4-0.
When was that again? Was that 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
No, it was this season, but it was at the beginning of this season.
It feels like 3 years ago.
It does, yeah.
It doesn't even seem possible that we were that
aged. I've certainly aged 3 years since then.
I know. I watched you. You're funny. Oh, you're funny. Yeah, it's a mess. Oh, God. I mean, I was taking notes. First 10 minutes, just abysmal.
Why do we concede so many goals in the first minute, Scott?
I think it's all Ange. He does not set a tone. You cannot feel. Everyone talks about this manager sets this tone or that tone. I feel like they come out, and truthfully, my team, I have a team, football team. Here in America, we call it soccer, whatever. I don't care. But, man, my team came out the same way yesterday. I was so mad. I tricked this guy that was breaking away. He'd already scored a goal at that point. He got so mad at me, and I'm just like, didn't say a word, but I was thinking, I have to do this for my team because right now we suck. And I don't even think the Spurs think that way. They don't think like, we suck right now. We got to do something like hard foul. I mean, Romero, I feel like hasn't even done a hard foul for ages.
Yeah.
And really nobody's doing anything. It's pathetic. Although I think Spence played well. I should take that back. Spence played well. Oh God, Dom sucked. He just looked off it. And you're right. He should have rested until he cannot play left wing. You can tell that is not his position. And Ange should see that. He must be the same way in practice. He just he looks big-footed. And I think on the wing, you shouldn't notice the guy just kind of big-footed on the wings. They should be driving down the wings, or even Son, he cuts it back a lot and passes it backwards. But Tell did not look good. I don't even know who looked good going on the attack. Matters, that giveaway, that was terrible. Yeah, was that the first or second goal where Matters gave it away and they broke? Maybe we didn't give up a goal on that one.
Yeah, listen, I think we're all in agreement it was pretty bad. But Scott, look, thanks for being a part of the show. Really appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll talk again after Thursday night.
Yeah, well, okay. See you later.
Oh, man, bye-bye. Okay, we're going over to Canada now. Going to Canada and Scott. Colin. Sorry, Colin. I'm losing. I'm losing the plot here, Colin. Colin, how are you, mate?
You're in good company. I'm great. How are you?
I'm bored. I'm bored of losing. I'm bored of losing. Honestly, it's interesting though, because I remember I basically go into every season, right, thinking if you lose less than 6 Premier League games, you have a chance of challenging. Are we now at like 20? Is that it's all competitions? We just lost. Actually, I can find out. Hold on. Yeah. How many Premier League games have we lost this season? Let's have a look.
I don't know. I heard a stat last week that it was.
We have lost 17 Premier League games. Our record is played 32, won 11, drawn 4, lost 17.
Yeah,
that is two more than West Ham.
I heard that stat last week where we lost. I don't know. It was like high 20s out of high 30s in the last. Comps. Yeah. No, we were. I mean, what can you say? I mean, what a fantasy camp for the Wolves today. I mean, the city of Wolverhampton must be like an extra 50 feet above sea level.
I was surprised. I was surprised that they were celebrating so hard. Like they didn't know they were going to go into that game and win. Come on.
But you know what, though? Isn't that? I mean, really, I don't want to sound like a cliche here, but that's what it's all about. I mean, what a game for them. I mean, imagine carrying so much. They were on cloud 9. I mean, I couldn't help but think, wouldn't that be great if that was us? Wouldn't it be great if that stadium was rocking before the ball was dropped? I mean, they were ready to go. And what a huge difference that makes. What a huge difference when you watch our home games compared to that. I thought it was, I mean, kudos to them that they're that excited.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I thought we always make teams look like they should be in the Champions League.
Yeah. Colin, do you think today's result and performance will have any bearing whatsoever on Thursday night?
100%. Absolutely.
Okay, talk me through that.
Because how can you, like the previous caller said, you can't turn it off. We certainly can't turn it off and on. And we were terrible today. And I'm not being overly negative, but I mean, objectively speaking, I don't like our chances on Thursday whatsoever. And I think if we had gone today, if we had a 1-4-2, if we had a 1-4-1, if we had to put a stamp on that game today, I think I know it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And the fact, please don't tell me we were resting quality uninjured players for Thursday. I mean, you know more about this than I do, but that's for a high level athlete. That's a good turnaround time. And I think we had to win today. And I think that game, I take exception with people saying, oh, that's a nothing game. There's no such thing as a nothing game. And we had to win that game today to set us up for Thursday. And I think it has a huge impact.
I think Mickey van der Ven improves us by about 25%. And I would say I think he was right not to play him today.
I would agree with the van der Ven decision. Absolutely. If he's still not, if there's any question about his fitness, I agree with you 100%. I also agree with the previous guest that said the substitution patterns, resting people and stuff is not really the problem. I don't think high-level competitive athletes that are healthy, 100% healthy, need to be rested in this situation. I think do you think the turnaround is good enough that a 21-year-old, somebody like Bergvall, has a lot of time to recover and be 100% ready if he's healthy for Thursday?
I do, but I guess I would argue that it's almost like Ange is picking based on luck now. He feels like he's been so unlucky with injuries that it would be just his luck if he gets injured. But then also, if the team you put out is going to perform so badly that you have to bring those players on at 50 minutes, then it kind of makes it a bit pointless.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with what you said about a wholesale. If we're going to do it, let's get Mikey Moore. Let's get everybody. Let's put Kinski in there.
Yeah, I mean Kinski. I mean, listen. I think we all got to the point where we felt like Vicario was immune from making mistakes, but he makes mistakes, and Kinski makes mistakes too. And Kinski, I would still say, is a better footballer with the ball at his feet, but Vicario is a better shot stopper. So I would still stick with Vicario playing, but yeah, I could have seen Kinski playing today.
But I think you have to win that game today. However you're picking your side, however you're picking your starting 11, I think you have to win today. And they were so terrible today that how do you then turn that around? We're very fragile to begin with, and you go into Molyneux and get your butt kicked. I just think if you look at sports and on the whole, I think it's hard to turn around from that. Who knows? That's why, as the cliche goes, that's why they play the games. But I just thought that was a terrible across the board. It was just really, really not what we needed to do today.
Do you think? I mean, you've said you're not feeling that confident we're going to win on Thursday. So do you think Ange Postecoglou will still be the Tottenham manager against Liverpool away next weekend?
Yes, 100%. Well, I'm contradicting. I don't know. What's the point? What would be the point of getting? I mean, it's almost like what would be the point of getting rid of him after Thursday? If you're going to get rid of him, it should have been a while ago.
Sure, and I don't disagree with that, but if and when we go out of the Europa League, all the games will be like today, won't they?
Yes, yeah, and that's
six more league games.
Yeah, and which nobody will watch. I mean, there's no.
Do you think do you think it actually might be the first time that we see kind of swathes of thousands of empty seats at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
I don't know. I mean, people pay a lot for those seats, right? And I think people come from all over the world to see those games.
Yeah.
I think that it's that odd relationship that supporters have with a losing club. Like they seem to be willing to, not willing, I'm not knocking the fan base at all, but people show up. That's the bottom line. And that's why I think stadiums that are half empty puts a lot of pressure on ownership, and Tottenham's not one of those stadiums. So that could be a large part of the culture of that club. And I think that's really the issue. Is there's a larger cultural issue going on at that club that a friend of mine was saying they need to blow up Manchester United. He said from the cafeteria up they have to change that squad. And I kind of remember that documentary years ago with when Mourinho was the coach and they did that Spurs documentary.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, all or nothing. Yeah.
And yes, and just the culture of that club seemed very odd to me. It seemed very kind of complacent even back then. Players were very happy just to be there. A lot of players talking about how great the schools were for their kids, which, hey, that's great. But that's, as a fan, those aren't the priorities for fans, right? And I think that attitude, I don't think they have a winning attitude at Spurs. I don't think they know how to win, or they're not 100% focused on winning.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Listen, Colin, thanks so much for being a part of the show. Really appreciate it. Let's talk again after hopefully a better result.
I hope so. Always a pleasure. Thanks, Barnaby.
Bye-bye. Okay, we're continuing our move around the world and to South Africa now with Linton, who I haven't spoken to for a while. How are you, Linton?
Barnaby, I'm good, thank you. But yeah, it's another disappointing result, unfortunately.
Were you in any way surprised?
No, it's become the norm these days. 17 defeats in 32 Premier League games. So that speaks for itself.
Linton,
So
I haven't brought this up today.
I don't know where we go from here.
I haven't brought this up today yet, but I feel like it might be worth saying. Do you get the sense from that news that dropped on Friday that Spurs are now appointing a new CEO, the ex-Arsenal CEO? Do you get the feeling that Levy is, blaming Scott Munn and is going to probably dispense with him and therefore dispense with Ange because they're the kind of Australian pairing, and try a new start yet again from the summer?
Well, Scott Munn hasn't been there very long, so
no, just a year.
It is possible, but yeah,
no, he's been here. Wait, he's been there. He's been there since Ange has been there, hasn't he? 2 years then, nearly 2 years.
Yeah, it's about there. Yeah, I think he started just slightly after Ange. It took a while for him to be released from the City Group, but it could be. I just don't know what he's thinking. Why is he appointing a CEO? We should be looking at matters on the pitch. And I mean, surely we've got enough people in high-level positions in there. I don't know the thinking. I don't understand.
Apparently, the new guy will have full control over all football. I mean, whatever football operations, whatever that means. But presumably that means including deciding who's going to be the manager and stuff as well, alongside the likes of Levy, Donnelly, Cullen, and Munn if he's still there. But I don't know if Munn will continue. Who knows? What did anyone perform well for you today?
Spence, as always, I thought he played well, and Tell probably the only two that did anything worth noting. Apart from that, everybody was poor. Vicario had an absolute shocker.
Yeah, Vicario didn't have a great start, that's to say the least. No. What are your thoughts now then heading into Thursday and the big one?
If I look at last Thursday, I thought we played very well, or certainly probably the best we've played all season. And so I'm hoping that, strangely enough, we can turn it on. I'm hoping that the players are seeing silverware at the end of the tunnel. So I'm hoping that Thursday night we really turn it on, and it's going to be difficult. We're going to be in front of a hostile crowd, so it is going to be difficult. And our away record, again, as we saw today, is not great. So I would like to say the game's in the balance. I would be happy if we went there with at least a 1-goal lead. But yeah, the thing is, Barnaby, we've got to turn it on from minute one. Yeah. On Thursday night, we conceded in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Today, again, in the second minute of the game, we conceded. So the focus has got to be on from the opening whistle for every single player.
But it never is.
And that's the problem. We've conceded too many goals early in the match.
Yeah, and I think there's a part of me that thinks, excuse me, that ever since that kind of Chelsea game from last season, where we nearly went 2-0 up and then kind of almost lost our heads with ill discipline, Ange almost doesn't motivate them in the same way to start as strongly. All the reports from Celtic and from Japan and Australia were that he's the ace man manager, the ace motivator, and that he gives the team talks that are unlike any team talks you've heard from a manager before. But the way that they go onto that pitch is not relevant to those rumours.
Exactly. They go on half asleep. So whether the warm up is correct, I don't know what it is. Whether it's the team talk, who knows what it is. But there's just been too many games where we've started on the back foot, where we've started 1-0 down, and it hasn't been long, and we've conceded a second in many games. And again today, shortly after the first one, we almost conceded a second almost immediately. So I don't know what it is. The other thing that bothers me is, what style are we playing? There's been so much made of Ange ball last season and early this season, but we're not playing Ange ball. We're not. I think, to me, the players don't even know what they're playing, and it's the way we're playing. I don't know what our style is.
Ange
What our
ball
identity is.
does not work against well-drilled teams who play a deep block, especially against teams who have three at the back, because right down the middle of the pitch, basically where Ange ball was working at the beginning of last season, is because we had overloads in the middle of the pitch. But every team we play against now makes sure that the middle of the pitch is absolutely packed with most of the players, and therefore it doesn't work. And it especially doesn't work in games like this.
And it's a lot of backwards, sideways, backwards, and that's where we get caught, and that's where that last goal of theirs was conceded. I mean, we had a free kick, and we were just pushing the ball around when Bergvall was robbed of the ball, and they scored. So it was just too much sideways and backwards, and not enough sort of pace going forward.
Yeah, Linton, listen, I totally agree, and thanks so much for being a part of the show. Let's talk again, hopefully after a better result on Thursday.
Let's hope so.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, next over to the Czech Republic and Steve. Thanks for being patient, Steve, mate. Good to see you.
No worries. I'd rather have not even taken part, but...
well, there you go. Well, appreciate your loyalty.
Yeah, no, I'm only...
I won't keep you for too long, Steve, but how are you feeling after that one?
Obviously very disappointed, but as you said, not surprised. I was hoping to come away for a draw, before the game started. But I was looking at their last or their record. The last time Wolves lost in the league was at Liverpool on February the 16th, I think it was. And they lost a cup game, but that wasn't in the league. So, and I was pretty concerned about that. They'd sort of hit a run of form. That's why they moved up the table a little bit. They've escaped relegation. So there was that. And then our poor record against them to boot, and the way we've been playing as well. It was like you say, I wasn't expecting anything really. A draw, and I've been over the moon, but it's like chalk and cheese. I know it's a different side, but
we don't do draws.
No, exactly. I was at the game on Thursday, and like everyone's been saying, and we seem to play completely differently when we
Steve, talk me through the atmosphere at the game on Thursday and what you thought of the performance there with mind to this coming Thursday away from home.
Yeah, I mean, it was a poor start again. Obviously, someone's spoken about that earlier on.
Did you feel like before the game the fans were like properly, really super loud and pumped for it, or was it more like because I was at the Champions League quarter-final home leg against Man City, and that is the loudest I'd ever been at a Tottenham game. No. And I was hoping that maybe we would recreate that for the Frankfurt game, but I didn't get the sense it was like that.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't at the game you were at, and I've not been to many games living over here. But I was a bit disappointed. In fact, I was, let's say, impressed is the wrong word, with the small contingent of Frankfurt fans. They were making a hell of a noise throughout the game. They were really well supported.
German fans are always good like that. Away fans,
very vocal. They used the acoustics really well.
They were allowed to have a drum in, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right. And there was a lot of it was a kind of a whistling. There's some kind of whistling kind of song, not protesting kind of whistling, but part of the sort of their sort of the way they were supporting their team. Very, very, very loud and very. No, there wasn't too much from the Spurs fans. In terms of the game, I was really impressed. And as we all know, I thought we were extremely unlucky. We could have easily come away like 4-1 winners, and that had been done and dusted. Well, Probably. Very impressed. Bergvall again today was. I love him to bits as a player, as we all do. He's probably one of our best players of the season, along with Spence. But I do think it was totally unnecessary for him to try and beat Kuna when he did and lose possession. There's so many players around him to pass to. Yeah, it's a totally different scenario when he's going on one of his bursting runs across into the opposition half. It's not such a dangerous thing, but he was literally the last man.
No, it was a shame, but also, like I said in my match review, is like don't mind that in a way, because at least he was trying to make things happen. Whereas, like we said in a previous call, so much sideways and backwards and fear on the pitch of like making a mistake. So he's trying to make something happen. It'll, and frankly, I'd rather it was today than on Thursday. So,
with regards to the team, you were asking people, if I can just interject, that I thought he should have changed many more players and given many more players a rest and give it a complete turnaround. I mean, a couple of people said they were impressed with Tell. I mean, I used to be a winger at a lot lower level, but it doesn't make any difference. But I thought he was pretty poor. He never made one-on-one. He was linking up okay.
He'll never go around the outside.
No,
we know that.
Never go around the outside. He couldn't get a cross in. Some poor passing, dispossessed. Not really. I mean, there's a lot of players who had bad games today, but I wouldn't say I want to see him again. And Johnson is the same sort of thing. He gets his assist, but didn't do bugger all else. I thought Romero was unlucky. If you watch that, the goal he concedes, or it's his fault, it bounces up and hits his shin or his knee, and he loses control. I think everyone's a bit harsh on him. I know he's not really been.
That's his job.
It is his job. Okay, well, let's talk about Solanke. I love everyone saying he's a workhorse and he works really hard, but his job as a striker is to put the ball in the net.
But did we make him a good chance again today?
True, we didn't. But so why do we have a striker like that if we're playing a system where it doesn't work?
You have to ask. I mean, that's down to the manager. That is down to the manager. You've got a striker who scored 20 goals for a mid-table team last season.
Oh, I know.
So it comes to the idea that if you make the boy chances, he's going to score goals. He's done it in the Premier League. It's not like Sergei Rebrov or Vincent Janssen who we bring in and they have to prove it. He's proven it at the top level for, on paper, a worse team than this. So it's down to the tactics as far as I'm concerned. Now, before I let you go, Steve, give me your prediction for Thursday night.
We come away, we get through. I won't say we're going to win. Well, we can win on. So we're going to win. We could draw and then win on penalties or something like that. I mean, I think we'll go through. If we play like we did last Thursday. I know it's away. I think we can get through. I really believe that. Well, I really hope so.
I love the positivity, Steve. Brilliant. Let's talk after that game, and hopefully you're proven correct. Thanks for being a part of the show.
Thank you, Barnaby. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay, next up to Manuel. Manuel, thanks for being so patient, mate. How are you feeling after that 4-2 defeat to Wolves at Molineux? Oh, I think you're on mute. Manuel. Can you unmute yourself?
Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thanks.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. I'm very excited because of next Thursday, obviously.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we don't do 4 individual errors in 2 consecutive games. Hopefully, the errors happen today, and next game we don't do no errors, no individual errors, please.
I wonder what the stats are, Emmanuel, on the last time a Premier League team gave up 4 individual errors. I bet it's probably... Do you remember that game where we were 5-0 down against Newcastle after 20 minutes?
Yes, I remember that game. Please don't mention it again.
So, Manuel, you're feeling excited about Thursday night. Give us some positivity and tell us why you think we're going to go through into the semi-finals of the Europa League.
Look, this game against Wolves away, we are always unlucky. They are a physical team. They got their first yellow card in the 85th minute. We got our first yellow card after 6 minutes. No one mentioned that Madison we had a clear penalty. Doherty fouled Madison. I mean, come on. This season, referee decisions, I feel we were very, very unjust this season. Not even 50-50 decisions. I watch sometimes Liverpool. The player touches him in the box, boom, penalty. I mean... Don't tell me Madison's foul was not a penalty.
I think, Manuel, that's one of those ones where it would have been a foul outside of the box and therefore should be a foul inside of the box, but they don't give those anymore. And the reason they don't give them at all is because they know that if it's a genuine mistake, they can be saved by the VAR. That is why that happens.
It's because it's Tottenham. That's why they don't give it, because if it was other clubs, they give it. Romero had an unlucky game. I thought the first half, he was starting to get in his rhythm, passing the ball, distributing the ball. I felt even Bissouma was starting to getting in his rhythm. Obviously, the individual errors changed the game. But then the coach decided to take off Bissouma and Sarr to change the game.
Bissouma was
obviously.
poor. Come on, Bissouma was poor, wasn't he?
I know Bissouma was poor, but you can see him trying. You can see him trying. Obviously, I feel that players like Bissouma and Sarr, if they feel like they get a game, they try, and then once, obviously it's not their fault, once individual errors happen, they get chopped off to try something new. So it's like you have certain games you don't start, you get a game, you start, you try, and then boom, you hit again back square.
I've just got a quote here from Ange. Manuel, he says, in general, I thought we were well in the game and controlled it really well, but we just kept conceding really poor goals. Isn't not conceding goals pretty much the key to winning any football match?
Obviously, yes. That's the point of the game. I feel right now, as a club in general, we have lots of toxicity because of the results. If the results improve next year, hopefully there will be much more balance within the football club and much more harmony, and the fans would be happier. But right now, with rock bottom, people are, talking against each other. People want the coach out, coaching, lots of uncertainty. And I think that reflects on the players. And for individual errors, there's lots of toxicity, lots of bad negative energy.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we play good this next Wednesday. We get a result next Wednesday. And hopefully we have something to smile about next Wednesday. The future is bright. Right. It's lily white. That's what I want. Next Thursday. Come on, let's go.
So just before I let you go, then give me your prediction for Thursday night's scoreline.
I don't want to predict the scoreline. I just hope we progress. I just hope we don't make no individual errors, and we get through. We have we get to the semi-final. We get 2 more games, and hopefully maybe get to the final. And obviously this year has been an up and down. Obviously these past few months were more down, but hopefully we get something at the end of the year.
Manuel, I hope you're right. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Let's talk again after Thursday night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, back to Ireland and Paul. Thanks for being so patient, Paul. How are you feeling?
I'll be honest with you, Barnaby. I'm completely and utterly fed up. I have been, and since starting to come on your show, I think before Christmas, on a semi-regular basis, I was, pro Ange because of, the hand he was dealt as regards of all the injuries and so on and so forth, and we were losing games, and that's the reason why. But he now has his full strength squad back. We're not just talking about today, but for the last month or so, and nothing has changed.
No,
absolutely nothing has changed. So no,
are they playing for him, Paul? Do they care about him?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. I think tactically now he has now been found out that football in Australia, Japan, and Scotland is not at the level of the football that he has to manage and know. He has now absolutely been found out.
Yeah,
we
just see the same things, both in terms of mainly in terms of how opposition set up against us.
Absolutely, yeah, and like we've said this on numerous occasions. Even when we were winning and we were playing very, very well, there is no plan B. There is just one way and one way only. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. And there's no consequence to it. Well, the consequence is that we don't win games. And that us Spurs fans are bitching and moaning about it morning, noon, and night.
Yeah.
And, it's so hard to watch. I'll be honest, I want him gone now. I wouldn't even wait a Thursday night. It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to. It's been that poor. It's been that bad.
So do you envisage us losing on Thursday night?
Well, look, one part I will agree with is that we have seemed to be playing better in the Europa League, which will give us some sort of chance, and we're still in the game.
Yeah.
Or we're still in the tie. So I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, but with our full starting 11, starting, I think we absolutely have. I think I'll be honest with you, apart from the Frankfurt goal on Thursday night, I thought we played them off the park. Like we could have had 4 or 5 in the second half alone. That would have put the tie to bed, and that's something as well. We're just not clinical enough.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think for me the problem is that even I don't disagree. I thought we played better than them, but they still had 3 or 4 occasions where they had like 4-on-2s, 5-on-3s or whatever. And with the home crowd behind them, I think they're more likely to make the right decision. So for me, it's more like, do I see us scoring 3 goals there? Because I think we'll probably concede 2.
Yeah, absolutely, quite possibly. And that is always a worry. We do seem to get ourselves into situations where when a team breaks against us, we never have a back 4 that's there to defend. It's generally only a back 2 with 4 attackers coming at us.
Yeah.
And we have defenders or midfielders coming from behind. And we're just hoping that the attack slows up enough that our players get back into position. It absolutely frightens me. It frightens me. And we can concede a lot of goals from that. And that's very worrying, especially when we get to home.
I guess I'm wrong in that we don't actually need to score 3. 2 would potentially be enough on penalties. What's your prediction before I let you go? What's your prediction for it?
1-1 draw. We win on penalties.
When have we ever won on penalties in an important game?
I know that's true, but look, it has to change somehow. It has to change sometime. So.
All right, yeah, so Vicario to make up for his 2 errors today by saving loads of penalties on Thursday night.
You know what? No, I'll be honest. The first thing I said, I wouldn't do anybody's confidence any good, but I would have had more respect for Ant Pascal today if he whipped Vicario after the second one. So get off and get Kinski on. I'm deadly serious. Yeah. Whatever about the first goal, okay, it was a weak punch, but he could have walked out and caught the second one. Yeah. He did not have to dive. He made it look good for the cameras and made a complete and utter ass of himself.
Yeah.
It's awful. It was awful.
No, I completely agree. That's true. Okay, Paul, look, thanks for being a part of the show. Let's speak again after on Thursday. I appreciate it. Cheers, bye. Okay, and last but by no means least, Zach, thank you for being so patient, mate. Zach, what have you got to add? Obviously, you've heard all of my callers today. Everyone's mostly pretty negative. Is there anything to take from today?
I mean, I think obviously I spoke to you on Thursday after the game, and I was saying I predicted a loss. I was predicting 2-3-0 loss.
You did,
and it turned out to be a 4-2 loss. Obviously, I was keeping up to date. I was listening to on the radio. And it's just the thing. I said to you on Thursday, we give the ball away too easily. We make mistakes too easily.
We concede from set pieces. We concede from crosses. It only takes one pass to get right at us through the middle of midfield when we lose the ball. There are a lot of things that I see in Tottenham that I do not see in the clubs in the top 6 or 7, and that is a problem.
Exactly. I mean, I would even go saying like the top half, like the top 10, like not making these mistakes. Like you watch. I don't know if you watched the Palace game against City.
Yeah, I did actually. I certainly watched the first half.
If you look at how Palace play compared to how Tottenham play, Palace are playing with a structure like they know what their plan is. Now, yes, they lost the game overall, but everyone expected Man City to beat Palace.
Yeah.
But they went out there with a structure.
And they played Man City off the park that first half. They should have been 4-5 up.
Yeah, no, I agree. But they look. All the players look like they know what they're doing, and they look comfortable in what they're doing. And like when you watch Tottenham, like this season, you don't know what Tottenham team is going to show up.
Yeah, I also think that Palace had a physicality and a pace that Tottenham do not have. So Tottenham, Ange's determined to play these wide forwards, but any defender who plays against them knows that they're never going to run you on the outside. Never. They're always going to come narrow back into where all of these players are. And so it's easy to defend against. It's frustrating to watch.
Exactly. And I think it comes down to, but I hope when you call us saying it, I've said it to like my dad before as well, because me and my dad go to a lot of Tottenham games. is and doesn't have a plan B. Is if plan A doesn't work, we'll try plan A again. And it's that may have worked in Scotland, all right, or in the Australian League or Japanese League. It's not going to work in the Premier League. Once you get found out, every team will stop you doing that. And what worries me is if we get to the cup. I think the only reason we're performing in Europe is because the players have a feeling they can achieve something there.
Right.
It's not. I don't think it's a case of Postecoglou's motivating them.
Right.
Because he can't motivate. He's not able to motivate them enough to perform in the Premier League. Like against Wolves, who are 17th in the league.
So you think they're basically taking it upon themselves in Europe to find ways to win? Yeah,
and if you look at our record in cup finals, if he can't motivate the players enough to perform against a team that are just above the relegation zone in the Premier League, how is he going to perform? How is he going to motivate them to perform in a cup final?
Well, I think, Zach, that's very much a best case scenario at the moment. Now, before I let you go, just because we're running out of time, give me your prediction for Thursday night. Eintracht Frankfurt away, 50,000 screaming fans, the drums, the atmosphere. Spurs with a history over the last 2 years of being absolutely abject away from home. Give me your positivity and the scoreline in which you think Tottenham could get through.
Yeah, look, I like to stay positive. I know there's a lot of negative stuff going around the club, but look, I'll end it with positive. I'll stick with what I said on Thursday. I think we'll go a goal down, but I think we'll turn it around. I think we'll win 2-1.
Zach, I love it. I love the positivity. I really hope you're right. Let's talk after that, and thanks for being a part of the show.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, if you'd like to appear on a future episode of The Fan Show, please email there at the bottom, tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. That's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. It's really important to the channel that we give all fans a voice, particularly those from around the world. So wherever you're from, please do get in touch. Okay, that's been the end of a very long and difficult afternoon again for Spurs. Yet another defeat, 17 is it now in the league? Absolutely mortifying. Thanks for watching. Please do give this video a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to Chris's channel at Chris Cowlin on YouTube. Also subscribe to mine at Barnaby Slater _. And if you want to keep on, and please do keep on watching the Spurs content from Chris Cowlin, he will be joined at 5:30 by Josh Hughes, Gareth McGuinness, and Simon Foxhall on the Spurs Chat podcast. That will be on his channel on a different stream. So do make sure you tune into that. But now, once again, showing that the players don't really give a fuck about the Premier League. A 4-2 loss against Wolves. Roll on Eintracht Frankfurt Thursday night. Hopefully no injuries. We can put our first team out and maybe surprise us all and do something magical. Come on, you Spurs.